Oh, yeah, that's right. It is the Cheersies. What is up, everybody? How you doing? Oh, the third annual Cheersies. It is live. It is live, and I am with the. There's nobody I could think of better to do this than the man, Ken Moneybags from the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. Welcome back for a third time, man. We're 3 for 3. You haven't bailed on the show yet, so that means it's got to be good, right?
Bail? Bail? How dare you say bail? I look forward to this show each and every year. I get to talk to comics with my brother from another mother from the local comic shop, and we get to deep dive into everything that is worth the time of day and night at the comic shops because it's the Cheersies.
Yes,
Fuck yeah,
baby.
let's go.
The fucking Cheersies. Excuse this language, but that's why it's on the internet. You know, yeah. I mean, that's why it's on the internet. I'm gonna do my best to keep my excitement. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
fuck lying to you. I'm lying so hard. This is what it's been for the last year, man. This is what we've been building up to. We're live for the first time, and I'm ready to talk about the best comics of 2021. I can't believe I'm even saying that. It sounds like a very futuristic novel. You know, the best of 2021.
Well, to think about it, there's just so much that went on this year in the land of comics that you want to think like, how do you top this? And just all the changes that happened. It's really mind-blowing to think about it as we're going to deep dive into everything about it. But how great of a year it was in comics. So many new characters came out. So many new writing teams just took the ball and ran with it. The art, man, I could keep going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to pump the brakes just a little bit.
That's all right, man. There's no need to pump the brakes on this one. There really is just so much to praise this year. And, you know, and that's what we're going to be doing. We didn't have a 3 Joker situation where we're going to spend 20 minutes of the show talking about something that we don't really like. And that's not usually what we do here. But in certain situations, there's things that need to be spoken about. That was one of them. I can't think of any stinkers like that this year. I mean, can you? I mean, we're gonna get all the negative shit out of the way because it's all positive from here on out.
To be honest with you, there wasn't anything that really was like, you know, red flags waving like, oh my God, don't go near this. And maybe it's just because the quality of books you can find, whether it's Marvel and DC or some of the smaller publishers, there's so much good comics out there that if you don't like something, you just don't have to read it. And you can grab something else and you're like, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was a good year. There was nothing that was, you know, super hyped up that was built up for 10 years that came out and made no fucking sense. You know, there was nothing like that this year. I think this year really delivered. There was definitely more bangers than stinkers, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Should we just dive into the first category? Should we just start handing out?
Why are we waiting? Let's fucking go.
Let's hand out cheersies, buddy. Let's hand out some cheersies. Yes. Best crossover. There was some good ones this was not the year of crossovers. I'll say that. It was not the year of crossovers. But with that, I mean, there's still got to be a winner. You know, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it wasn't all duds. That's for damn sure. It just wasn't. It was a runaway year. It really was. It was a runaway landslide victory this year, and I love who it went to. But before we start getting into names and whatnot, there were 4 that, you know, where Twitter allows me to have people vote on. They need to change that shit because I swear we need to have at least 6 nominees for every category.
Yeah.
Well,
I definitely agree.
I leave the nominations up to the voters for the first time. You know, that's what I did this year. I let everybody throw out their own nominations, and then I use that to calculate who should in fact be nominated. That's how I came across these 4 finalists here. But well, you know, let's name the finalists first. Batman vs. Bigby. That is Batman crossing. And you know, before I get into this, there's been some confusion as to what a crossover is, and I'm gonna explain this a little bit. The way the Cheersies sees a crossover is it's 2 separate universes coming together. Otherwise, to me, it's an event. Aquaman does not cross over with Batman. That's not a crossover.
Yeah, no, that's a guest appearance.
Like that's something that could happen in any given storyline. I'm talking about Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and Transformers and My Little Pony, shit like that. Like those are crossovers, universes you wouldn't normally see, especially, even publishers. So with that being said, Batman crossing over with Fables, Batman versus Bigby. It's a crossover. Crossover. It's a crossover. Just because that's what the story is about, all different universe. I mean, granted, it's not, two publishers teaming up to do this. It's Donny Cates just being magical. And I mean, like, this is a crossover. This counts. Elvira meets Vincent Price. Like, if that's not a fucking crossover, yeah. And then Batman and Fortnite. Specifically, Batman Fortnite 0 Point was the crossover that was nominated here. So those are our 4 honorable mentions. Do you have any that you could think of that needed to make the list?
No, when I looked at this list, I thought everything was pretty much on the top of my charts I was looking at when I was thinking, okay, like who really had a strong crossover? And like you define it, it can't be anybody who's got like the shared universe, like, hey, Spider-Man brings through with Daredevil. It's like, been there, done that. Right. I don't care if it's a crossover, if it's Netflix coming to Disney Plus, that doesn't count. Right. It's all one shared universe. So nothing was really jumping.
There was one that stood out to me that I was very surprised didn't get more nominations, and that is Sandman Lock and Key.
That's true.
I don't know if it just didn't get the notice that I thought it would get. I mean, you have a different perspective when you're in the industry, so compared to your casual readers. So I thought this would be huge, but apparently, I mean, the Fortnite universe spoke, and I mean, I see it. That's why I left the nominations up to you guys this year, people. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not just the best of Brian's favorites, as much as I would love that to be.
You do pick great ones, so it's like that is our favorites. I mean, let's be honest with that.
I appreciate that. Now, let's hand out our first Cheersie of the night, man, and I'm excited for this one. It wasn't as landslidey as you thought. There was a very neck and neck, lots of votes in this one between Twitter and Facebook and all of that good stuff. The winner is Elvira meets Vincent Price. Dynamite book taking out Batman and Donny Cates. This
was an upset in my book. I had this all being crossover all day, but damn, this book slid in, won everybody over. I mean, and how dope of a crossover.
I mean, come on. And, Elvira, she works very, very closely with David Avalone. I mean, they're very close companions. I've had David Avalone on the podcast, the writer, by the way. Here's your Cheersie. The whole, oh, man, it's an amazing thing to see, an upset like that. But at the same time, it's well-deserved, man. Quality, I mean, Batman doesn't always win in these types of situations up against these indies. And I think that right there speaks for a whole heap and helping of 2021, man. The indies cometh. The big two, they start shaking a little bit because it's they're here, man. The indies are here. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, we don't have like musical acts or anything like that to segue in between. We don't have anything.
We want to do that next year. Give me enough time. I think I know somebody that might be interested in that.
I bet you do. Oh, I love it. All right, let's continue on here. Well, I want to give. There we go. I need to make sure I get the entire creative team involved in here. We've got, oh man, how about that David Costa cover for one? Like, if that doesn't say Vincent Price, Elvira, that's what's selling books, people. Covers sell books, so you got to give some credit there. Juan Samu, the artist on this, and just glorious and spectacular in any way. So congratulations to that whole team. Dynamite. Who would have thought? I mean, if you listen to the podcast, I've got some things to say about Dynamite often. These are the exceptions. Like there's some really, really good stuff coming out of Dynamite, people, and this be proof. Let's continue on. A very, very big year in the horror genre. Over the last couple of years, it was difficult for me to even, come up with 4 runaway obvious choices for horror comics. There might be 1 or 2 standouts, and then a lot of people trying really hard. This year, it was very, very hard watching this list narrow down, because I think I had what do I have here for nominees in my original list to narrow it all down? I think I had 6 off the top of my head, and I was like, I gotta fucking stop here. There was some good ones. So the 4 nominees that you voters chose in this year's Cheersies for Best Horror Comic 2021 are Ed Pisker's Red Room. And that's fucking horror. It's banned in 5 countries, it says on the cover. I don't know if that's just something you say to sell a book or that's true, but I could see this being banned in 5. I'm surprised it's not banned in more countries,
Give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time. Yeah. It's one of those books when it hit, it was like, whoa. And then just more word of mouth, and everybody else is going, whoa. And it just is spreading.
Yes. Oh, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Silver Coin. Michael Walsh's Silver Coin. And I say Michael Walsh's Silver Coin because he's been the only consistent thing on this series. It's his series. He's drawing the whole damn thing. He's just bringing in some badass artists like Matthew Rosenberg and Ron V and Kelly Thompson and who else? So many good ones, man. Who did issue number? Who was it that did issue number? Was it? I have it right here on the wall. By the way, the wall consists of, and I don't have the widest angle here, all of the nominees of this year's show. Every single book that we talk about is on this wall, and or if the exceptions would be, they're out at CGC. Those are the only exceptions. Fact is, I've purchased every single, and I didn't have to go back and be like, okay, what do I not have? Got it all. I read comics, people. I'm the guy for this. I'm looking for that Silver Coin. There it is, issue number 6. Joshua Williamson. That's the one. That's the one.
If they're just trying to recap everybody, I'm like, I'm drawing blank.
Oh, dude, I'm surprised that I didn't write any of this shit down. I thought I'd just go off the top of my head.
We do this live. That's what makes it authentic. If we just did everything so scripted, it would just be so boring. Let's be honest.
It's like, this isn't the Oscars, people.
Exactly. This is the Cheersies, damn it.
The Cheersies. Stray Dogs. That Stray Dogs got some attention. We'll beat this year. That's one of the exceptions as far. Well, I got some Stray Dogs on the wall. I just don't have issue number 1 at the wall. It was signed. I'm just waiting for it to come back. And then the Me You Love in the Dark, out later in the year, kind of snuck in there, and rightfully so. Scotty Young, Jorge Corona, Jean-Francois Boilet. My favorite name to say, next to Julian Totino Tedesco. The book was fucking fantastic. Honestly, I think this. I'm not going to get into spoilers here. Shall we? Oh, honorable mentions. If there were ever a time to talk of honorable mentions, it's probably the horror.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Tell me the books that you were surprised did not see make the final 4.
Well, the only one that really stood out to me, because this is my pick for the best horror book of the year, bar none, and it's the only reason I thought it didn't make the list is because people are waiting for it to come to the LCS.
Yes.
And it's not currently out on Comixology. And if you listen to the ODPH podcast, first and foremost, thank you very much. But if you listen, you know my love for Scott Snyder's work, and what he's been doing with the line of books on Comixology Unlimited has been nothing short of fantastic. And the book that I have as being the best horror comic of the year is him and Francisco Francavella's Night of the Ghoul. I think that book, bar none, is the best one out.
I'll have to check that out, man. I'm always late getting to the digital first because I've got plenty of physical to read here. But I mean, knowing that this book is coming out in print, I have no doubt that I will possess it, and perhaps that will be its qualifications for a 2022 Cheersy. Maybe, I don't know. When you come out twice, you get 2 tries, right? I mean, it's my show. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't crossed that territory because I mean, until this year, basically this year, there's been so much of a shift to digital and Substack and that kind of vibe that it really hasn't made its way to the award show. But this is one that when this came out, during this year, it's been making a lot of noise, and you're kind of seeing the shift there. But the cool thing about this is when Scott was talking at New York Comic Con this year, he said all of them were going to be coming out on print. And I believe that We Have Demons, the book with him and Greg Capullo, which is fantastic, is going to be starting to drop in March, I believe, under Dark Horse. And then with a trade paperback coming right after, too. So they got a lot of great stuff coming. And like I say, once you get these books on the shelves, they're going to fly out of there, too.
Dig it, man. I dig it. Yeah, no, I think it qualified twice. It could qualify twice. There was a couple for me that I thought definitely, I mean, Ice Cream Man, as long as that book's coming out, it's good, and it came out aplenty this year. It's just, I think Silvercoin just kind of, it took this similar concept and, just said, hold my beer. And I mean, I don't want to take anything from W. Maxwell Prince or Martin Morazzo and that whole Ice Cream Man team. Like I said, I mean, I'd throw that in there if I could, and possibly even vote for it. But it's a fun year, man. It's a fun year. It was a very surprising year. There wasn't a whole lot of I 100% saw that coming this year. There just wasn't a lot of it. And that's what makes this exciting. Maniac in New York. The book Aftershock, Andre Sorrentino, Elliot Kalan. See, I do remember all this stuff. I fucking love Harry the Maniac. I do. I thought he was a badass. As some people say, the ending fell short. That may be why. It didn't quite make everybody's radar. I mean, I know when issue 1 came out, I was like, oh my god, fucking Jason! And I mean, I was kind of one of them. I was like, is somebody gonna fucking get sued? No, it was just fucking different and awesome. And I mean, there's not a Jason comic out there right now, and Jason's name isn't Harry. So, I mean, there's no trademark on hockey masks. It's not a thing.
No.
But it is derivative. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to deny that. But it's also badass. And I don't know. If I could have 6, those would have been my 6 for sure. But now,
and all rightfully great too. I know. Shout out to Rich from 3FN. He's a big fan of Maniac in New York, so he was definitely saying like that was his pick. Well, no, his pick was Night of the Ghoul too. Like we talked about Scott Snyder a lot.
Yeah. That was good stuff. But let's find out who you, the voters, chose. And I was surprised. I didn't realize this book was as popular as it really was. I thought it was just my little circle. But the winner is Stray Dogs. Tony Fleeks, Trish Forstner, just taking the cartoon killing animal world to a whole new level. Don't get me wrong, the story was fantastic, but I don't know what sold this book more, the story or all of the fantastic horror homage covers. I mean, if there was ever a book that tributed horror this year, it's clearly Stray Dogs. I mean, there's no denying that. Did you read Stray Dogs?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's the story and the concept, because I mean, it's such a wild idea, but yet it works.
Yeah.
And it's so well done too. And to have that kind of flip in the horror genre is a really cool thing, and it really stood out. And I think that when you're so used to seeing, I hate saying the traditional horror style,
yeah,
to see something as so left field as Stray Dogs come out, it's well done from top to bottom. The creative team absolutely crushed this. that this is something you sit and you go, okay, I get it. I get why the buzz is here, and just to see how it all played out, man.
I love it. It is a worthy winner for sure. Personally, I'm a silver coin guy. I think to be able to do an anthology like that with all different writers, it's one thing to do it with different artists, but all different writers to, I don't know, it's just it's a different thing to see, and having that consistent visuals that Michael Walsh is able to deliver, it's fucking awesome. If anything, I would rather have an anthology where the artist sticks around and you change up the writers over I mean, vice versa, just because I feel, I find it more visually appealing. You know, it's easier to determine, okay, this is the same book, you know, because I mean, you're, for most people, it's a lot harder to associate a writer's style than with an artist's style. You know, it's going to be a lot easier to determine that. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's where Silver Coin stands out to me, in my personal opinion. I fucking love Stray Dogs, though. I spit on my 5th issue with that ending just because I was physically talking out loud, yelling, screaming. I mean, I don't know about screaming. I won't go that far, but I was in it, man. I was really in it, and I think that was one of the most memorable times where I was actually vocal while reading a comic. And I very much remember like spitting on my comic, and you don't just spit on something unless you're fucking yelling something or even whispering really hard to yourself. So congratulations, Stray Dogs, best horror comic of the year. And if I had a best category, or a category for best breakout artist and team of the year, it's going to go to Tony Fleecs and Trish Forstner. There's no doubt about it. They took the world by storm. Everything they touch now visually just turns to gold. I mean, and rightfully so, because they have a style that most wouldn't dare to do to appeal to adults. And they bit the bullet, and they fucking killed it, man. So congratulations to everything that is Stray Dogs. Image Comics producing an amazing horror year all around. 3 out of 4 of these were Image books. Fantagraphics getting Red Room. So who the fuck knew about Fantagraphics until this year? You know, I mean, most people know at least of Red Room after this year. So it's an awesome year for horror. The best year for horror in all my years of comics. I don't doubt that for a second. It was an amazing year.
I'll co-sign on that. No, this was just such a great year where everybody is really kind of caught. And it's very cool to see, like, when horror comes back into pop culture swing. And I mean, it's always around, but you know how much the movie industry has been really jumping back into the genre. They've been definitely making a lot more devotion to it, even though, I mean, it's always been there, but it's great to see when it comes back and when pop culture really embraces it. And when you see it in the comic form too, this really hits for such strong content this year. And I think it's just kudos to everybody that's been creating it, because I agree with you. This has been the strongest year in comics in recent memory that stands out for me for horror.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Fun stuff. Let's all right, on to the next one. How about best spec book? Best spec book, that's the word that's just I don't know. I think I say I'm just as guilty as everybody else for using the term spec. I hate it. It's the words kind of turned cringe in a lot of people's eyes, and yeah, I get it. A lot of people had a lot of extra money this year, and Logan Paul fucked up Pokemon, so everybody came over to comics, and then everybody thought that they were a speculator, and you know, some people developed into speculators, and I'm not putting anybody down for giving it a shot, but there's a lot of people that really drove the market to a level that still hasn't really leveled off yet. And with that being said, I think there has to be a category this year for best spec book. Now, what's a spec book? It's a book that holds long-term or even quick turnaround fiscal gain. It's a book that you make money off of, people. It's a future blue chip. How's that?
Well said.
What's that?
Well said, too. And let me give the props where props is due. You come on Cheers each and every week. You give the spec books. You tell everybody what to go get. So if somebody is missing out on that, and you're going, damn, I was at the shop, I missed out on this book. This is another reason, yet again, why they should be listening to Cheers to Comics, because you're making people money.
I am.
But I want to give the roses while you can smell, my friend.
I got on that note. I'm also supplying these books at available and reasonable prices as well now at Shop Cheers to Comics. That's kind of something that happened this year. How about a category real quick for best new online retailer shop? And the award goes to me. I could do that, but I keep extras, people. I keep extras. I practice what I preach. And if you want, you miss out and you don't pre-order your books, then come to shopcheerstocomics.com and see if I can hook you up. There's a plug for that ass. Sorry. Okay, but there are lots of books to speculate on. This is probably a list that I can go on for 2 hours about, because this is what I do every week. I have a list of books that I think that you should pick up if you want to make some money. And it seems like that's what everybody wants to do these days. So, the final four. We've got, out of Marvel, we've got the Black Cat Annual. Now, this is the first appearance of the Tiger Squad, something like that. Lots of new faces. I'm not going to name everybody, but that's not what's important. It's the fact that the book has held steady at around $10 to $15 before anything has happened. It's strictly speculation and doing very well, mind you. Staying steady. Stray Dogs #1, specifically the A cover. It came out real heavy. I think there's a point in time where you can get you have to spend $100 on eBay to get the A cover. It's since leveled off. I want to say right around $60. But please believe, when that Paramount animated series comes out, everybody is going to be all over this. More so the A cover, I would imagine, but I think it's also going to create a huge rise and just redemand in all of the horror variants that came out. There was plenty of them, tons of, I think they went to a 5th printing on a lot of these. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of covers to choose from. I think there's going to be a resurgence in Stray Dogs, and I think the book's going to do well. And that's tough to say with an indie, because with indies, it takes a TV series. Let's be honest. Very few indie books that, do this well without actually having a series out yet. So it could be real iffy with indies for sure. Robin #1, that was one I had to throw in there. Robin #1, the first appearance of Flatline. As somebody that reads Robin, Flatline is going to be something, people. I mean, you think Punchline is going to be something. Flatline is not a one-off villain. No, it is Robin's future wifey. That is going to happen. I don't know about wifey, but when Alfred from the grave gives his approval on someone like that, she's sticking around, and you'd be silly not to think that she's going to be a huge part of the Robin mythos. Robin has his own fucking book now, people. Damian Wayne has his own book. It's going to go places. We're just through that first arc, and that Lazarus tournament was dope. I mean, there was a weird kind of dip in it at one point in time, but holy shit, that Lazarus tournament was dope. And it just continued this mythos even further. And with Robin #1, it's not just Flatline that's in there. I think there's a couple of other low-key appearances that had lots of screen time throughout this Lazarus tournament.
And how good is it that they're finally giving Damian Wayne his own little sub-universe finally, that he's not borrowing from Daddy Dearest or Nightwing or the artist formerly known as Drake, because I always forget what Tim Drake is going by these days. Red Robin, I love the character though, for record. But it's so cool to see that they're finally investing in him, his own characters, and really being able to have him grow, because his popularity has really taken off over recent years. I mean, I'm not saying it's on Harley Quinn level by any means, but if you think about it, when you talk to Batman fans, he's really made a deep impression on it. And for DC,
like,
yeah.
So I mean, it's. Go ahead.
Well, but when you think about it, it's like when he first came out, they really didn't do anything with him. He was just like, okay, son of Batman. And then when he was killed off, the reaction people got was like, wait, we really like him. You got to bring him back. And now that he's finally back, established for being who he is, the fact that we're now taking the next step with him, I think is brilliant. Yeah. And I really am excited to see what he does with his characters in his own little universe now.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think Robin is it's an easy nomination for me. The last of the final four was Star Wars High Republic, and you could really just fill in the blank as far as which issue. But yeah, for the sake of whatever, we'll just say issue number 1, because it does have some, we've got first appearance of Keith Trennis and first cameo of Machiron, I think is how you say that name. I don't know. Haven't heard it said yet on Disney, so I don't know what it sounds like. But but I mean, to think for a second that the High Republic universe isn't going to get developed cinematically, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. I mean, I'll say it to your face, you're stupid. It's going to happen. And everything Star Wars High Republic is going to be big. I'm a hoarder of that issue number 7, that first Darth Crawl. The first Sith that they brought into this universe. I want to see it. I mean, give me that. There's so much that came out of the High Republic. I guess we're almost through the first, what do they call it, phase of High Republic. We're almost on to phase 2. I think High Republic Adventures is ending in a week or 2 with issue 14. I don't know what the Marvel run's going to go to, but phase 1's coming to an end. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna do things. I mean, I pop in and out of it. It's a fun read. I'm interested in this, and I want to see what they develop with it. And yeah, man, High Republic. It's good stuff. But I mean, there's just, I guess I can name maybe a couple. I don't know if I could just keep it to a couple. I mean, Taskmaster number 3, the first appearance of super low print run. I always say it, and I always feel bad saying it. It sounds kind of racist, the name. I got to be saying it wrong or something. But that guy, because I'm not going to say it, I got to have some sort of dyslexia or something there, because it just doesn't come out right when I say it. And then, Nightwing number 78, first appearance of Nightwing's sister.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Oh, and Bitewing. I mean, who doesn't love a 3-legged fucking sidekick, I mean, so Nightwing 78, it holds steady at around, like, I don't know, $10 or $12, but as soon as they start developing, Marissa? Is that her name? I think it's Marissa. As soon as they start developing her more, it was on the tip of my tongue and then lost it. But that's an easy speculative pick for me. I mean, there's a couple throughout Nightwing. The first appearance of Heartless shows up. Heartless is going to be the shit. There's so many potential picks this year as far as what's going to be the one. So with that being said, it's time to hand out this year's Cheersy for best spec book of 2021, and that Cheersy goes to Tony Fleeks, Trish Forstner, Stray Dogs number 1. That's people speaking volumes right there.
Yeah.
For an indie book that has not had a series, there's no trailer, no nothing. It's just like the other 200 optioned indie series out there. That's a lot of faith. It's a lot of faith. Granted, you know, they said it's in development, but there's a lot of shit that goes in development that never sees the light of day. You know, those are very blanketed words. And the people have spoken, and they have the faith that is Stray Dogs. And congratulations, man. I thought Star Wars was going to be the runaway.
You know, I think for the comic audience, they really know about what Stray Dogs is going to be. And I think what everybody is speculating is that's going to be the next Walking Dead. That's going to be the next big breakout show.
That's really the standard. You know, what's going to be the next Walking Dead? You know, just like someone killing the children, and you know, people are comparing that to that's really the only other indie book I could think of out there that people have this kind of faith in.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like, we haven't seen anything. It's just somebody said, hey, somebody that you know is working on a book. That's as far as we got, or working on the series. That's as far as we've gotten. And you know, it's so awesome to see people really, really striving to get that next Walking Dead type of blue chip key. You know, low print. I got that first issue is a low print run. They're not all 9.8s, people. So I mean, it's it's a great pick. I could see why people voted for this book easily, for sure. All right. This is a fun category. This next category breaks my heart to do, because this is the one time I just wanted to be super, can everybody just get one?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to crowdfunded comics this year, this was the year. I mean, gun to my head, I don't know if I could pick there's a little bit of bias in my pick, but if it wasn't for my bias, I don't know if I could pick my favorite comic, my favorite crowdfunded comic of the year, because it was just that awesome of a year. Now, with that being said, we did narrow it down to 4. It was a very, very, very tough 4 choices. But I'm stoked on all of these. The first one being Pocus Hocus. You are somebody that introduced me to Pocus Hocus, and we can look to a Pocus Hocus interview coming up here very, very soon, because Pocus Hocus 3 is launching here in a few weeks. But Pocus Hocus, man, you talk about people coming together to nominate this book. I mean, honestly, almost everybody that nominated this book. I had to fill in the other 3 on my own. It was like that. It was Pocus Hocus. That was awesome, man. I haven't checked it out yet, and that's why I'm so curious with this. I got to know what this fan base is about. You're part of this fan base. Tell me about this book.
I got to just give a shout out, obviously, to Alan and Will. They're fantastic people. They're going to be coming on the ODPH2 in February. I'll drop that off too for the Kickstarter. Let me just say this. I got introduced to this book from Frank from the Geek Freaks podcast.
Okay.
So shout out to Frank.
Yeah, man.
And he was like, you got to go check out this book. I believe this was actually mentioned in the Apocalypse, the best group on Twitter, by the way, for an independent podcast. We got to get that plug.
That it is.
And I immediately said, okay, let me go check this out. And I was really impressed with the setup they had for this. Alan and Will really went out of their way to introduce this character who's dark and brooding, yet so sarcastically funny, and yet made such a very unique story pop off the page. And really, I got done reading issue 1, and I was like, this is something that usually is not up my alley. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And I'm like, I'm super excited to get issue 2. And Alan, I talked to on Twitter a lot too, so I'll give a shout out to Alan Dunford. And he was like, here's issue 2, and just, what do you think? And just, just been talking with everything. And just how they presented this is as much DIY as you get. Yeah. And I'm so impressed with what they do. and just how they have just really caused the easiest way to describe their fan base is it's a movement. Every time I do a review of their books, I always get a big turnout, big fans behind it. And like I say, if you want to talk about what Kickstarter can do, they really have elevated this book and really taken it some places. And like I say, for the story, I think it's great. I'm always blown away when I read it because I've reread it a few times now. I'm super excited for issue 3 to drop because I've been sitting here going like, where are we going with this? I mean, just from the name of Hocus Hocus, and I'm always notorious for butchering it. I just want to say Pocus Focus for some reason. It's like my weird dyslexia. Like it kicks in. This book, though, has been something that I have been really preaching about to anybody that if you're an independent podcast and you really want to interview some guys that have been really putting in some work and really just going DIY better than anybody out there right now, go talk to Alan and Will. And I can't stress that enough. And I'm so impressed with what they're doing. And I'm super freaking excited to go talk to them in February.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm stoked to talk to them, especially after seeing how just hardcore their audience and their fan base is.
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's awesome to see. And one of the second of the 4 nominees, finalists for this year's Best Crowdfunded Comic of 2021, a book that you cannot deny when it wins a fucking Ringo.
Mm-hmm.
The first book to ever win a Ringo that's crowdfunded for Best Series or Best Indie Series. Sorry, or was that what it was? Or Best New Series? Whatever it was, it won a fucking Ringo. It doesn't matter what category it is. It hasn't happened. Crowdfunded. You can't deny it. David Pepos is the man. He holds the record, tied with the record for most appearances on the show at 5. And oh man, if you haven't read the OZ, you're missing out. Thirdly.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just jump in quick and just say I had the pleasure of meeting David down in New York Comic-Con this year. And actually had a name drop you because you've been preaching about his work, and I've been checking it out. And then finally, we just happened to be cutting through the whole 607 podcast fam, and I'm like, I know this booth, I know this person. Oh my god, went right over, and like I say, if you haven't been checking his work out, I can't stress this enough. You got to get going at your local comic shops, demand and start reading some of this. The OZ is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
and I mean, I wish I had my autograph picture. Or my autograph book, actually. But unfortunately, that's at the studio where I'm not at right now due to Mother Nature trying to say, screw you, Ken, you're not going to be able to record tonight.
Every year.
I know. Every year something happens weather-wise. But I wish I had to show it off, the autograph. And Dave is awesome, too, if you ever get a chance to meet him in person. He's great to talk with. And I can't stress enough, just the fact he pulled the Ringo so crowdfunded, that's such another DIY move. And I'm a big supporter of anything DIY, making that happen and getting on your grind and going for it. And David does that each and every time with a book. So definitely need to go check out the OZ.
He kills it. I think right there. There's your OZ on the wall right there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Take a look. Oh, it's good. It's good. The third finalist. The one, if I had a gun to my head, I would choose, and it's only because of when they put you on a comic book cover. You vote for it. And you don't just vote for it for that reason. Ryland Grant's The Jump is phenomenal. There's not a lot of people that write, and there's nobody that writes in the style of Ryland Grant. I mean, he's 80s action comic book guys. I mean, that's what he does, and The Jump is, it's not as 80 actiony. It's got a lot of homages because that's, I mean, at the very least what you're gonna get. But this is honestly more of a Fabio Alves kind of joint. I mean, if you guys caught the story on that, Fabio Alves is actually oh shit, what do they call it when you fucking go out of your body? Why is that escaping that's the whole premise of the book, whatever it is, but he does that shit. And that's where the whole idea came from. So go back and listen to the podcast talking about the Jump with Ryland Grant and get that whole crazy story. It's based off fucking real experiences. Like, that's the crazy thing about this. But the Jump is, I love it. It was an amazing crowdfunded book this year. And then the last nominee, the fourth finalist for the best crowdfunding comic of the year. Once again, the fans have spoken. The network, it exists. Monster Matador, Tango of the Matadors, a little 3-parter that Stephen Prince put out throughout the year of 2021. And you want fucking fun? You want something that you just haven't read before that's just strikingly appealing and just, like I said, you haven't read it before? Check out Monster Matador. I mean, it's something awesome. And then there's a Afropocalypse. Was the only reason I didn't specifically put in Afropocalypse is because it just funded, so it hasn't been distributed yet. Maybe it'll get a second chance next year. But oh man, do not sleep on Stephen Prince's Monster Matador, because this is something amazing. Now, as far as honorable mentions go, I honestly could go on and on. I mean, Monty Michael Moore's Loco Hero. I mean, the book was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Monty Michael Moore doing his breakout writing. This is his first time writing. I mean, he's a fine artist, and he writing a comic. I mean, he's been doing comic book covers for 35 years, I think now. So he's not new by any means, but as a writer, yeah. And issue number 2 of Loco Hero came out, and it's fucking amazing. So that Kickstarter, that whole campaign, stay on that for sure. I mean, I can go on and on and on about honorable mentions for this category, because it was the year of the crowdfunded book.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can echo those statements. I mean, there's so many great crowdfunded books. Inferno Girl Red by Matt Groom. That's one that's going to be, I believe, coming out via Image later this year, but that one is definitely one you want to keep your eyes out for. But that was Kickstarter first, I believe. And obviously, I got to give a shout out for Punk Taco, Adam Walenta.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you know, I know that Volume 2 will be dropping very soon, so if you haven't checked that out, you need to go get familiar with that as well.
Yes. All right, we got to move on. To the next category, being the best new character of 2021. And like I said, lots of first appearances this year. Lots of books to spec on. There's that word again. But it's an undeniable year, no doubt. So let's get on with these. This is probably the tightest race out of all of the categories this year. This one was neck and neck throughout, I gotta say. But let's just get down to it. The first one being a late arrival in 2021. Flint Sparks appears in Good Boy, number 1. Good Boy. I mean, it's reverse John Wick. Face it. It's reverse John Wick. But you know what? We all love John Wick. So fuck off. You know what I mean? We're all happy with this. I haven't heard anybody talk shit about or Good Boy, and it's just because it's undeniably good. I mean, even if it is hyper derivative. But yeah, Flint Sparks, he's a guy that we want to see stick around. At least the voters have spoken. Flatline, I mean, I've said my piece on Flatline. She's
what else can you say?
It's the best new character, people. I'm sorry. You're just the best new character. Bitewing appears in Nightwing number 78. And like I said, I mean, come on, how do you deny a 3-legged, what is that? French? I don't know. It's one of those weird looking smushy face dogs, but it's undeniably cute and everybody loves it. And he got to have Tom Taylor had the fans vote on his name, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I mean, that in itself, obviously people are gonna vote for the thing that, you know, I mean, they named. Am I right? And then Harry the Maniac I mean, because we talked about him. He's dope. You know, I I like the way he kills. I dig his style, man. he can fuck up a subway faster than a speeding bullet. Lots of first appearances this year, man. Do you have any honorable mentions off the top of your head that you wish you would have seen made the Final Four?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm trying to think. This has been a year that I've seen so many great books that I'm blanking at the moment right now, because Bitewing was my pick. Because I mean, how do you say no? How do you say no to that dog?
You don't. Bruno Redondo made a monster and that cutie pie. I mean, that's just he's gonna be a force. Bitewing is the next Baby Yoda. As soon as everybody gets on their shit and picks up Nightwing, Bitewing will be the next big thing. I want to see that Funko. I mean, I haven't bought a Funko in years. I'd buy a Bitewing Funko just because. I mean, where's your good boy? You know, I mean. So yeah, I mean, shit. Lots of there's an unlimited amount of honorable mentions in this category. So let's just get down to it. Let's talk about the winner, the Cheersy winner for best new first appearance, best new character in a comic 2021. And the award goes to, it was a close one, people, but not a surprise at all. Bitewing. I mean, Tom Taylor, where Tom Taylor will be named, I believe Tom Taylor he's going to succeed. That's what he does. He doesn't even really have to try. Flint Sparks, though, I mean, to see a new character pop up and be that enjoyed and loved right off the bat, it says, oh man, it says so much. And honestly, I mean, well deserved. Any of these to me could have easily deserved this award. So congratulations, Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, on creating just a cute little boy comic. I mean, eat your heart out, Jeff the Land Shark. I mean, that's the crossover. All right, now on to the next. Now, there was some confusion as to what an event is in comics. I don't find any confusion there. So I'm going to define it for those that may have some sort of other opinion as to what the definition of a comic book event is. I define a comic book event as essentially the other version of a crossover that's wrong. When Future State happens, Future State comes out and it crosses over. You see that title, Future State, on other ongoing series on the cover, tying in. Catwoman tied in with Future State. Everything tied in with Future State. Things like that. Or it gets spin-offs. It doesn't necessarily have to tie in to other ongoings. Maybe it's its own singular thing, but it also gets spin-offs, creating a numerous amount of issues, all focused on one focal event. Things like Heroes Reborn, for instance. You know, it didn't cross over into anything because it wouldn't have made sense. But there were a shit ton of crossovers that came out with it that are now going to be spinning off into other things like Night Gwen and things like that. So there's your definition of, or at least my definition, the definition of a comic book event. Now, with that being said, best events of 2021. It was kind of a short list, but at the same time, it was hard to choose. Number one, the first being Heroes Reborn, as mentioned before. I think this was Marvel proving that they can do an event properly. I mean, Marvel often kind of duds out with their events. Often. Not all the time, but often. There was no dud at least in the circles that I roll around in, when it comes to Heroes Reborn. It was very well done, and rightfully deserved a nomination. The second being probably the most ambitious, a 6-month-long Marvel event that, unless you're a Star Wars fan, you didn't know about. And you know what it didn't do is piss anybody off. That's 2 Marvel events now that didn't piss anybody off. Yeah. I was worried that Bounty Hunters was going to fuck up my Darth Vader. I was like, but Vader's already good. Why do we need to tie it in with the Boba Fett story? Like, just how does this turn into this? Guess what? They did it. They made it all work. Everything was seamless. It didn't feel shoehorned in, at least to me. And I'm somebody that claims Darth Vader to be the best comic book series out there. Mm-hmm. Period. Yep. So it didn't fuck up my book. And so with that being said, congratulations, War of the Bounty Hunters, on just doing it right. On doing it right. And a 6-month-long event, 6 months. You realize this is a 6-month-long event. This started in the summer, and it ended 2 books ago. 2 weeks, or I guess I get my weeks are my time is based off of comics. How bad is that?
Not a good calendar to run off. I get with you like that too, though.
Through DC, we had Fear State. Now, once again, this is something that tied into a whole lot of stuff. Almost all of the DC ongoing titles had something to say with Fear State. They even kind of fucked up Nightwing for a bit with it, just to make sure that everybody knew that Fear State existed. Do you have any thoughts on Fear State at all? Did you read Fear State? I know it was a divisive run. There were people kind of down the middle. There were people that liked parts of it. There were people that think that it was this year's 3 Jokers. I wouldn't go that far. But I don't know. Where did you land on Fear State?
I was all right with it. I wasn't blown away by it, and I guess when it kind of comes into when you hear a creative member is leaving, the character is kind of like the swan song. It kind of took a little wind out of the sails because obviously we know that Tynan was going away from the Bat universe,
right? And unless Joshua Williamson wanted to pick up exactly where he left off, Fear State was going to essentially be, I hate the word pointless, but pointless.
Yeah, and when that happens, it's always been just in me as a comic reader. It's like, unless that's the definitive swan song, we know that was the end story, I usually get tuned out by it. I'm like, okay, and I shouldn't go into stories reading that, but a lot of times that happens. But that's just me. So I was like, I thought it was okay, but I wasn't blown away because I'm thinking, well, it's going to just get wiped away with a new creative team anyway. So why should I invest?
I mean, it introduced some very interesting characters like Miracle Molly.
Yeah.
What's the name of their gang? I can't remember it right now. But I mean, they're obviously there to be played with further. I don't think they're going to be forgotten about. And I have enough faith in Joshua Williamson that he has respect for these other creators. I think that's what got him into this position of being the guy writing fucking Batman now. Right. Which, by the way, is really good. Since he's picked it up, but no, I mean, I don't think that he's just gonna be like, okay, my turn, I'm gonna do my thing now. And I think obviously he's going to do some version of that, but he's also not gonna just completely forget about these characters that James Tynion spent 6 months introducing us to. I mean, to think for a second that Punchline and Miracle Molly are just gonna be swept under the rug, I don't see Joshua Williamson doing that. I don't. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Fear State's gonna. I thought it was okay. I did. I didn't. I was more on the positive side, way more on the positive side, to be honest. But like you said, when you find out that it's not gonna mean anything, and then you see the way it ended, they shot Scarecrow and didn't kill him. No fucking shit. No shit. There's no weight to this. We all knew there wasn't going to be any real weight to this because, I mean, that was all kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of irreversible, or I don't want to say irreversible stuff, but some stuff that happened this year that's going to take them. I mean, if they want to do
a wild bit. it's gonna take a while to fix.
And I mean, fix might not even be the right word. I mean, because it's some people like it the way it is, but I don't see Batman not being Batman for much longer. You know, he's going to get his money back. You know, it's just I don't see him just going off and being just kind of filthy rich. Did they really fucking hurt him? I mean, so he doesn't have a bat cave anymore. You know, like did they really fucking cripple him that hard? So he doesn't have $100 billion now. He just got like 900 million. Poor thing. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are. It's just Fear State was, like I said, it had its ups and downs for sure. I mean, I'm more on the positive side, but I don't know. They could have ended it with a little more effort, I think. That's just me. And then the other event of 2021 belonging to DC, all over the place, Future State, as mentioned before, setting up the future of the DC universe. You know, bringing in Jace Fox's I Am Batman and so much more. Peacekeeper, right? No, Peacemaker.
Yeah. Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker, and all of the various versions of him, or of the Peacekeeper unit, if you will. I mean, they set up some stuff with Future State, but I think this was the proverbial let's throw the biggest pot of spaghetti against the wall and pick out our favorite 4 noodles and go with that. And I mean, I don't know. It's what DC did this year was very, very, very confusing. I don't know where they're going. I mean, I have no faith in their direction at this point. Ever since 5G was just like, oh, we never said anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, man. I just with this whole Future State thing, I really do think that they're painting this big, fancy. Oh, we know what we're doing. But in the long, they have not shown us. They've given us no indication that DC Comics really knows what they're doing. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
My vibe is I think what they did is they had an idea that they wanted to go with. They threw it against the wall and was hoping something stuck and the fans would get all excited about it. And I think while Future State had its hit and miss moments, it was kind of a little more miss than hit. And obviously, we knew with John Cena now coming as Peacemaker, they're really gonna start shoving him down everybody's throat and suddenly make this, D-list character into something relevant. I just thought that, like, for what they had,
the Suicide Squad run right now is fucking fantastic.
I will give you that. I will give you
that. The part that he is playing in comics is dope, but this is pre HBO,
right.
So the viewpoint and let's just face it, the money dump that DC is going to focus on now is going to be drastically different. I mean, we're going to get ready for a lot of Suicide Squad-esque titles. I mean, I think we're even getting a Peacekeeper one-shot here in a couple of weeks, I think, coming out. So it's coming.
But that's the thing. It's like, I think that what they did is they kind of threw it against the wall because when they get very itchy to hit the reset button on their universes, and let's face it, they got the track record, in my opinion. Then it's like, okay, we got to do New 52, ding. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Okay, we're going back to Rebirth, ding. And then it's like they keep hitting the Staples easy button, the ding button, and it's like, okay, we're all just supposed to go, kind of forget about this. I think it's like with Future State, they had the chance to really do some things, and they didn't. And I don't know, like I say, I like what I like from it, but it's like for overall, it's kind of like, well, at least it wasn't 0 hour.
Yeah, no, there's that. I don't know. I feel like DC's still trying really hard though to make us want to care about this future they had planned out. Now they're doing this Justice League Incarnate and all of this stuff. I mean, and that I gotta say, that stuff is fucking out there. Unless you've been reading DC for 40 years, most of these people are like, is that a first appearance? Is that a first appearance? Who the fuck is that? Is that a first appearance? Did I just hit the fucking jackpot? Do I have all of the? No, it's just a bunch of shit that people forgot about a long time ago because it wasn't all that popular to begin with, and now they're just trying to. I don't know what DC is doing. don't, and I fear for myself as a reader in the next, I don't know, especially this coming year. Now that, you know, they spent 2021 building it all up. Now, what are they going to do with it in 2022? Or are they going to wait 3 years, and by the time we forget about all of this extremely convoluted, very dense material that they're giving us, and make us remember it or try to remember it later on? I don't know. So with that, it's hard. It's really hard for me to expand my DC readership because of things like this.
I agree.
It's everything's a mini series now, or it's Batman or Robin or Harley Quinn. You know, those are the only things that could really keep ongoing. You know, I guess Superman, but I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of, like I said, a lot of noodle tossing this year, especially with Future State. With that being said, we got to find a winner, man. The best event of 2021. And according to Twitter, it's a tie, but thankfully we have other ways of voting. So you could have voted on Facebook as well. If you want to, you really like something, you join the Cheers Comics Facebook group. There's another poll there. You really wanted to make sure your book got in. And that's how this tie got broken. I will say that the runner-up in this tie is the book that I just want. I liked it. That's Future State. I don't want to say the book, the event. People liked Future State, and that, you know, that's what makes me go, shit. Fucking, maybe I'm kind of on my own on this one. Maybe I'm just too new to DC Comics after reading every single title that's come out in the last 3 years. Shit doesn't make sense to me still. So yeah, but the tiebreaker, the winner, is the 6-month-long Star Wars epic that was War of the Bounty Hunters. And fucking duh. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Heroes Reborn, you know, substance-wise, was a huge breath of fresh air, knowing that, okay, you could take, I mean, the Squadron Supreme and make me really want to read the next issue and put it in a Marvel event and be that goddamn good, then yeah, no, awesome. But for a Star Wars event to overshadow that speaks volumes. I mean, Boba, you don't even need to finish the other day. I mean, does he really need to be Boba Fett? You could just say Boba now. It's like shared. You know what the fuck he's talking about. I think that's more popular than T at this point. You know, War of the Bounty Hunters.
The man, the king.
Oh,
the goat. What can you say?
Right. Every crossover that this event played into, from Darth Vader to Dr. Aphra to the main Star Wars title to Bounty Hunters, was amazing. All of these writers and creatives to come together and tell this very, very just linear story done in this way. I mean, kudos to Marvel for one, because it's a lot of events can be ruined by fucking up the release times of shit. That's one thing that Marvel is very bad at, is putting out books after the other thing has already happened. And that's a lot of times what drives people away from that. Heroes Reborn, I feel, all came out when it should have. And if something was out of place, it was kind of an event to where it did make sense. So they had that buffer. But for them, I really can't think of an instance that happened. It was, I don't know, very, very good year for Marvel events, no doubt about it. So congratulations, everybody that worked on this event, because you can't just hand it out to one team. I mean, it belonged to everybody, from Charles Soule to Ethan Sachs, Greg Pak, Raphael Ienco, everybody. It was an amazing series, an amazing event. So well deserved. And I'm glad Facebook was there to push that Cheersies over the edge, because it really did deserve it. Indies, man. Indies, the year of the indie. I
so much good stuff.
I mean, they're all, you can't narrow it down to just four. Every single independent publisher, I think, deserved a nomination this year. I mean, everyone from Fantagraphics coming out with banned books to Aftershock to Vault to, I mean, all of them. There were so many just lower level indies that really shined this year just by putting out hardcore quality. I mean, I really think Aftershock was kind of the breakout. Do you see me now, motherfucker? A publisher of the year. I really do. They did it because they were. I mean, there's a lot of people that kind of laughed at the thought of Aftershock just because of all of their failed option books and shit. Now, it doesn't have to be fucking option to be good. You know, I mean, so many amazing publishers just really shining this year, but it did have to get narrowed down to four. I'm not going to go through and name every single indie publisher out there because, like I said, they all deserve it. All of them deserve it. But we do have a final four. Aftershock, because I mean, Aftershock.
Yeah.
You know who really did some awesome shit this year was Source Point Press. You know, I mean, they came out with some heavy titles this year, man, and they have such a broad spectrum as far as genre goes. There's nothing about a Source Point book is ever cookie cutter, and I mean, it's well deserved. I'm glad to see once again a smaller publisher really rising to the top like they should. And it's just undeniable this year. Undeniable. Image Comics. They're always undeniable. They put out good stuff, people. I don't care if they're the big dick in the indie room every year. I mean, it is what it is. You know, the dick's on the table. You know, let's see what you got. I mean, Image is the standard as far as, you know, I don't want to necessarily say quality, but just independent creators getting to do their fucking thing. And yeah, undeniable with Image every year. And they're always going to be talked about.
They always set a high bar no matter what they're putting out. They always have that high quality standard.
Yeah. And then Boom really making it, man. I know you're a big Boom fan, and rightfully so. Boom puts out some quality stuff. I mean, Power Rangers is just, they're still doing it, man, and so good. I'm more behind than I care to admit, but I will say from what I've read, and I mean, I'm full. I mean, I've at least got a full story arc in for both Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. I collect every single thing that comes out Power Rangers because I'm just that's my what I grew up with. I think that was my real first after Barney. It was fucking Power Rangers for me. You know, I grew out of Barney. I'm like, fucking go Power Rangers. You know, Morphin time, and it's been with me ever since. And outside of just that, Boom puts out so many other great independent titles like Tom Taylor's 7 Secrets. Come on, Something is Killing the Children. This is all Boom stuff. So obviously, Boom will be nominated this year. It does not surprise me in the least. It really doesn't. No. I mean, where are you at on Boom? I mean, I want to hear you. I want to hear you vocalize about it.
Here is the thing, we don't shy away from saying this. We do have press creds with Boom. Shout out to everybody over there. They treat us very, very fantastic, and I am more than happy to promote the crap out of them because I am a fan first. So if you ever read Parlay Points, where I do my blog reviews, I only do the books I love, and I tell you what, Boom has got such a wide variety of content for me. And to put it in perspective, Once and Future is one of my favorite books out. I think that book just kicks so much ass every.
That is, to me, that is the next Walking Dead. That's the one where everybody needs. That book will have its day. If Something is Killing the Children didn't exist, everybody would be talking about Once and Future because they kind of came out at the same time.
Yeah.
At first, everybody was talking about Once and Future, and then all eyes went to Something is Killing.
And then Something Killing.
Yeah, but Once and
Future.
I
mean, you talk about.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
you talk about
is that good?
No, absolutely preach on about it. Like, like I say, they've got such a wide variety of stuff to Eat the Rich, which was such a surprise hit this year because that
Yes.
flew under a lot of radars.
Yes, kind of divisive, but you know what? I'm on the fuck yeah side. I
I'm with
like
you
it.
there too.
I really do.
Yeah.
I know there's, and I do kind of understand people's, I don't know. I don't want to say
Feeling.
negative, but just their distaste for it. But you if you analyze it a little bit further, I don't know. I feel like there's just it's so heavy. I get why you hate these characters. I do. I hate them too, but I want to know why I hate them. I want to see where they take this hate, and I don't know, man. I think that's a great shout out. I'm glad that we got to talk at least a little bit about Eat the Rich this year in the Cheersies because it really did stand out for sure out of Boom. I forget that was a Boom book. Damn.
Yeah, no, because like you say, they do such a wide variety of content. And like I say, they literally have something for everybody. Like whether you're a big Power Rangers fan, and like I say, I really wasn't until obviously Tom Craven from Off the Cuff Gaming is a huge Power Ranger nut, and he always was screaming at me, "You got to read this." And what Ryan Parrott's doing in the book right now, the Altarian War, is one of the best stories. If you want to talk like an event, that is an event that I think is going to carry is definitely going to be something that fans are going to talk about, even if you're not even the most diehard Power Ranger. If you start at the beginning, read into it, and just all the moments that are going on there. It was one that I was reading Power Rangers 14, and I actually screamed out in my workplace, "Fuck yeah, let's go!"
Nice, man.
I was super excited reading it. Yeah, and then of course everybody's looking at me. I'm like, Power Rangers 14 in your comic shops, and like ran out the break room. So, but that is the reaction you get when you see these stories, and they put out so much good stuff. I can't plug them enough. And like I said, we're very fortunate that they take very good care of us and shout us out. So like I say, I gotta say, Boom is doing beautiful things, and I would be remiss if I did not plug my other personal favorite. And Valiant. I wish I actually had time to run and grab my mug for Valiant Comics.
Yeah, man.
Because Valiant,
undeniable.
Yeah, and so Valiant.
The only thing I didn't like about Valiant is I didn't get Rye. That's the only thing I don't like about Valiant is that they have Rye on the back burner right now. Because that's the best. That was the best comic out there.
Oh, I agree. Well, you know what? Harbinger overtook it for my book. I love that book. That's my go-to right now. But they have got such a big year coming out too with the Dead Side War coming on the pages of Shadow Man, which I think I think we'll be seeing, a big year for them coming up from this. Like I say, they have got so much good quality books that are going on. And for me, I mean, I was reading Valiant when I was really getting into comics way back when. So like I remember all these characters from their first incarnations, and now seeing what they're doing now. And the creative teams are absolutely fucking killing it right now there too. Like I said, Harbinger might be my favorite book out right now. I'm really into that. Ninjak, I love the cool 70s vibe to it because that's when I see that artwork. I'm thinking old Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. McFury. And just what is going on there, and just like the spreads that Javier Polito was doing was like, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like this is just such a cool, hip vibe to it. And just I mean, I could go on and on about them. So I'll definitely shout both of them out, and amongst every other indie publisher out there right now, killing it.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, we got to hand out an award, and we do have a winner. It is. It's never a surprise. It's never a surprise when the award for Best Indie Publisher of 2021 goes to Image Comics. I mean, they have the quantity and the quality. That's just all there is to it. Quality and quantity. They put out amazing books this year, and I mean the people have spoken. Well deserved. Really, really well deserved. It could have gone to anyone here. I would have gratefully handed this award off to any publisher that the people would have voted for, because honestly, this was the year of the indies. There's no doubt about it. Everybody is searching for that next Walking Dead, and Image did it last time, so it's got to be Image that does it again. So we all got to vote for Image, right? I mean, Radiant Black. Come on. I mean, it's just I don't know if I could pick my favorite Image comic. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I could. There's just so many.
But you know what? There's so many out there, and like I said, I always can't stress this enough when I'm talking to comic fans. If you are really not feeling what's going on with the big two, go take a shout to the indies. Go check out a publisher that you're not familiar with, and just deep dive into something. You're gonna find something you're gonna vibe off of.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah, 100%, yeah. It's so awesome to see these creators popping in, commenting.
Yeah, I'm just noticing this right now.
Yeah. Fabio Alves dropping in. Oh, look at Alan Dunford.
Hey,
what's up, brother? What's up? Glenn in Monsterland. Another fucking badass all ages comic crowdfunded that I had on the show. Kevin Philpott off the top of my head. Yeah, look at you coming on. Oh, welcome. It's awesome to see you guys. Do you have a favorite indie publisher? I think you've spoken. It's in Image Comics. Everybody spoke. It's Image Comics. I mean, obviously other people got votes, but it was pretty overwhelmingly decided that it was Image Comics this year. So congratulations.
Yeah, but we can't stress. Support your favorite indie publisher. Support your favorite indie comics podcast too.
Yes. There's a couple of them out there. There's a couple. Let's continue on here. Man, I'm not. Let's do. Ooh.
You want to talk cover?
Let's talk cover. All right. This is. Oh man, there's so many amazing covers this year. If I could, maybe can I get my camera to turn here? Focus on some of the covers. There we go. We got some covers in there. I'll just kind of turn a little bit. Some amazing covers, people, like the Trial of Magneto, and oh man, let's so many. Mark Brooks's Trial of Magneto #1 variant it's fine art. It's you know what? I got them right here. I'll pull them down for closer viewing. But I mean, look at that. Mark Brooks is a goddamn master.
That's my vote. I'm not even gonna shy away from it. That was my vote.
Yeah. It was a hard one.
Great, but God, man, that was such a piece of art.
Then there was one that I thought this is actually an honorable mention for some reason. This Mystique cover, this X-Men cover. Oh my God. It's smart. It's just smart. And that's what I love about it. Mike Del Mundo. That's the artist on that one. Mike Del Mundo's X-Men #20. Absolutely fantastic. And then let's see. Can you see here? I don't need to bring that one in close. Gleason was a name that took the world by storm this year. Not that he's a new name by any means, but Patrick Gleason's Webhead variant came out like the last week of 2020. So any of his Webhead variants could have easily made the nominations this year, but it was actually the Black Panther book, the fine art Black Panther #20, or I'm sorry, minimalism variant that they did for Black Panther 25 that the people decided on. That was the Gleason book that they thought. I mean, I knew there was going to be a Gleason cover in there. I knew there would be. How can there not be? And then, I guess I can. I'm not going to turn the camera anymore. But how about this? Daniel Warren Johnson.
That's a badass cover too.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I think this came out the second week of 2020, and I was like, this is going to win. Like everybody else could just stop trying. Thor #11. Oh, the whole alien variant they did, that whole line.
Yeah.
Oh, like Pokemon, I caught them all, and I actually, up until the Cheersies, I had all of them on the wall. I was waiting for all the Predator books to come out. That didn't happen, and I was gonna do a whole thing, and Stupid licensing. Stupid licensing. That's all it was. Go ahead.
Did I hear right though that got settled?
No, it's just delayed is all. It's settled, at least from what I've heard as well. It's just didn't come out right after Aliens like it should have.
Oh yeah. No, but just the fact we're still going to get those covers though. That's the only thing I would mention.
Yeah. No, though they're coming. They're coming. I mean, how could they not? They were all so good. I mean, there are a few there that are 100% going to be talked about in the Cheersies. I mean, we might have an all Predator fucking. What was the category? Like, what was the best Predator cover? Because there are some really, really good ones. But it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Honorable mentions. There's definitely a few awesome honorable mentions. Like I said, the Mike Del Mundo. I had it here because it's on my wall regardless. So wasn't much effort to just kind of take it down a couple pegs and slide it over. Look at it. Then there was a Warcorns metal book that came out that got a few people wanting some nominations. That's for damn sure. And so, I mean, I looked at it. It's super, super awesome. I mean, Warcorns came out of Scout Comics, I believe, and it was a limited metal cover, but it's still available to everyone. That wasn't an exclusive thing. That's why it qualified, because we don't do store exclusives and best cover, because it's just that opens up a whole can of worms. Maybe we could do a best store exclusive cover and separate the
there you go.
Because, but yeah, no, it's some great covers, man. But we have a winner. We do have a winner, and oh, you know what? The other one, the one that I don't have on the wall, that's only because it's at CGC, is Iron Man number 12. That Raza Miles Morales variant.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, our top four were the Trial of Magneto Mark Brooks, the Thor Daniel Warren Johnson, the Iron Man Raza variant, and the Black Panther Patrick Gleason variant. And the award goes to probably the prettiest cover to ever happen ever. Mark Brooks's Trial of Magneto, number 1. It is glorious. Absolutely glorious. I mean, well deserved. Well deserved. And a very, very close and surprising second, though, was that Thor number 11. I thought that was my nod, and like that was my nomination that I had to put in there because it's just absolutely gorgeous. And apparently I wasn't the only one that thought so. This was a lot closer than I expected.
Absolutely. Like, this one has so many amazing pieces of art. And like I said, this was tough for me to choose, but like I said, that Trial of Magneto one, I was like,
yeah, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And readily available to anybody that knew how to pre-order a book. You know what I mean? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We're getting into the big boy categories now, people. The big boys.
Yes.
Let's see here. We've got, what do we? Oh, we're best indie miniseries, best independent miniseries of 2021. And there were some good ones, man. There were some really, really, really good ones, and I don't even know where to begin with the with honorable mentions with this. So let's just get down to our 4 finalists from AWA Studios. Not All Robots, from Mark Russell and Mike Diodato Jr. Jesus Christ. This series just wrapped up with the 5th issue, and it turns out that this is going to be an ongoing. There is a to be continued situation. Whether it's released in a second volume or in issue 6, that's a whole other thing. But did you read Not All Robots?
I just started getting into it. So,
oh God, oh dude, it is every single issue that Russell lays out just unravels this whole other terrifying, just what could be, and something that is hyper realistic and something that we are very much on the verge of getting to. You know, I mean, we say 2021 like it's super futuristic and shit, and I mean, it's here. The future is here, and all of these robots taken over. I mean, Elon Musk needs to read this comic and maybe take a step back and be like, what am I doing here? Do I really want to advance AI to this level? Because this is where it goes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, read Not All Robots, because it is fantastic. Fantastic. My pick for best indie series of the year, or mini series of the year, personally. The pick, Last Ronin. I mean, granted, their book is released like every 6 years, but it seems, but Jesus Christ, every issue delivers, man. What this entire team is doing is, I mean, it's living up to the hype for sure. There's no doubt.
Am I right to say this is, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Am I right to say this is the Kingdom Come of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world?
Gee, I mean, I think that could be a fair statement. I mean, I don't have any argument against that. I am so anxious to see this last issue. I want to know why so much. I mean, I need to know how canonical this is. You know, I know this is something that they had mapped out fucking 100 years ago. You know,
right.
It never happened. So I don't know, man. I'm curious. But so far there has been no sadness. It's all been so good. The third finalist for best mini series of the year, a boom book, I believe, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Ram V. Jesus Christ. He took the world by storm this year. He got on my radar. He did a lot of shit. But that first issue of The Many Deaths of Layla Starr made me rethink life. And that's a bold thing to say, but I mean, I sat back and I had to think about some things, you know. It opens your eyes. And where they went with this series, this is beautiful comic book storytelling. This is unlike anything you've ever read. It's just off the beaten path by miles and miles, and Ram V just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it on The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. It is not a book that I thought I would be into. It really, normally I would look at that and I would think, nothing about this sounds like something I would read. But then I read it just because it was a light week that week, and I kind of I had speculative hope with the book, so I picked up a few copies, thinking, okay, maybe I'll just read one of these, and sold. I mean, I added it ongoing, and it didn't disappoint. It's beautiful, beautiful storytelling in that book. And then the fourth indie mini series that was finalized. Can you guess? I bet you can guess. You didn't have to look. Stray Dogs. Come on, Stray Dogs. Everybody loves Stray Dogs. Everybody loves Stray Dogs. So there's a billion. There's a billion and a half honorable mentions for this category, man. Do you have any that off the top of your head that you would like to have seen as a finalist?
You know, to be honest with you, there was probably like so many that I was just like, you know what? All of them are winners in my eyes, but we got to choose just a narrow field, because otherwise we'll just be sitting here talking for like 3 hours about it, because there was so much good books this year. But that said, I know I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but you got to give it to The Last Ronin.
Yeah,
that one
is really good. Really, really, really good. Yeah. You can't deny that. There were a lot of really good indie miniseries though. Like The Recount came out this year. People forget about The Recount coming out of Scout. Like, that's a fucking spec book for that ass. I just sent mine all out. And then they just announced like that book is moving further in the process of development. Like that is happening. That is going to be the book that people finally go, oh, now we can speculate on Scout books without, having that in the back of our head. Like, is it really going to happen? The Recount is going to happen, and rightfully so. It's a badass book. Bunny Mask out of Aftershock. That's fucking crazy shit. There's just so many good.
Barbaric.
Barbaric, yes. I mean, that's
That
one's way up there with me. I almost had to slide that in my, just if there's only 4 spots, I mean, if Not All Robots didn't come out this year, I would have slid Barbaric in there more than likely, just because, yeah.
it's that good. It's just like, and the crazy thing is, it's tough to say these are miniseries because a lot of these are still rolling just into a different chapter. So, like I said, that throws me off too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that they're volumizing things, initially, I put out with Not All Robots, only 4 issues had come out, and that in itself qualified. There's nothing stating that this was an ongoing. They just kind of surprised us at the end, going Volume 2 coming soon, or the next whatever. So I think this was originally slated to be a mini series. Mini Deaths of Layla Starr. That I can't see that going any further.
No, I think that's one of them.
That one's definitely ended. Stray Dogs, it's getting spin-offs, but not really continued. This Dog Days that's coming out, it's a 2-part micro series anthology. So I don't really consider that an ongoing at this point. It's still a mini series, I think, but they are going to milk that cow. I mean, why wouldn't they? Getting my money. But yeah, I think there's no surprise at all in announcing this year's best indie miniseries of 2021 as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are half-shell heroes. Oh, The Last Ronin. I mean, come on. I had the opportunity to talk to Kevin Eastman this year on.
How dope was that interview too?
Dude, that was so much fun. That was probably the shining 7 minutes of my comic book career of 2021. Like that was, it wasn't even on this show. That's the crazy thing. But
yeah,
it was good stuff, man. It was good stuff. And the Last Run, it's incredible. I cannot wait for the series to wrap up. But you almost don't want to see it end either. It's the hype book that is living up to the hype. It had that 3 Jokers type of hype to it, but this one, you want to read the next issue, not because you want to know why, but because it's that fucking good. And well deserved. It was no surprise to me in any way, shape, or form. I will say that Not All Robots came in not too distant second. I mean, Mark Russell, he's a force this year, people. He is a fucking force. Man, great year for comics. Great year. What's up, Lewis? Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, what's going
on? DC miniseries. Well, we're gonna stay in the realm of miniseries right now. There's some good DC miniseries that came out this year. I feel like most of their titles were miniseries, unless it was Batman or Harley Quinn, or Nightwing. But yeah, nevertheless, there were some good ones, man. There were some really, really good ones. The 4 finalists that I got narrowed down to for Best DC Comics Miniseries of 2021 is Nice House on the Lake by James Tynion and let me get the name right here. Alvaro Martinez. Buena. And everybody, I mean, I'm surprised this didn't win a horror series of the year, to be honest, the way people talked about it. Did you read Nice House on the Lake yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. I am going to confess that I have yet to read it either. I hear great things and I believe everything I hear. I have been collecting the fart out of it. There's no doubt about that. I can't wait to go through and read this series, but I also know that Tynan's going to take he's going to take a break, a real break. I'm thinking like a year from what it sounds like in between issue 6 and issue 7. So I'm in no hurry. He's got Substack money to make, people. Yeah. The Other History of the DC Universe, Black Label book coming out hot. People really, really enjoyed this series. I didn't get around to reading it. I don't read a lot of Black Label these days, just because I got to try to stay within the realm of DC continuity, because it's hard enough trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing with Future State. I got to be real picky and choosy with the non-canonical stuff that I do read through DC. So I didn't get around to reading the other history of the DC universe. Did you check it out at all?
No, because I'm with you on that. It's just like if it's not involved directly in DC, I just didn't really pay that much attention. But from other fellow content creators, I heard nothing but really great things about the book.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to see it get some notoriety and a nomination. Did very, very well, by the way. Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing got extended to, is it even really a miniseries at this point? It went from 10 issues to 16 issues. That's a weird number. Just call it an ongoing. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't, once again, this is more of DC not knowing what the fuck they're doing. They don't know if it's going to stick around long enough. And why don't we have a Swamp Thing ongoing? If we can have a Suicide Squad ongoing, why can't we have a Swamp Thing ongoing? You want people to get into the character, make people confident in the character. Not like, hey, we got a 6-issue miniseries. 10. People like the first 6 issus. Well, we'll call it 16. I know that's solely based off of numbers. They wouldn't extend it otherwise. Rom V, as good as he is, he doesn't have that kind of clout yet. So I don't know, man. Where are you at with Swamp Thing?
Yeah, this one I did check out, and I didn't mind it. Like, Swamp Thing to me is such a tricky character to juggle around, because either it's done really well or it's like, yeah, it happened. And I like it, and I think that's why the series maybe got an extended run, and it's because, like I said, I thought it was very good. But I think that just DC, for whatever reason, like certain characters, they're very hesitant to give that ongoing to. So it's kind of like that late, like, in my opinion anyway, they're kind of like, oh, well, the book's doing well, we're getting a lot of positive feedback, let's keep it going.
Well, they gave 52 ongoings out at one point in time, so apparently they.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm once again, I'm just confused by DC. I don't dislike DC by any means. I'm on my fucking wall, but
yeah,
I get confused as to their motives at times, and that's all. Swamp Thing, I checked out the first couple of issues and I thought, well, this is something that I should probably read in bulk. I don't know if I could see myself reading this bi-weekly or monthly, just because it's a dense character. He's not exactly part of the Justice League, and the Justice League book he was a part of, they just kind of threw in the back of another Justice League book. So I don't know. I don't know how confident DC is in Swamp Thing, so I don't know, man. You want these publishers to have confidence in their shit. It's like being a good manager. You want to lead your people in a confident way and make them want to fucking go to war with you. Buy your books metaphorically. You can't do this wishy-washy stuff like they're doing with Swamp Thing right now. Yeah. But that doesn't mean the book's not good. I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm confused with DC is all. The fourth and definitely most underappreciated DC miniseries of 2021 is Arkham City, Order of the World. This series is fucking spectacular. The same team that brought you Coffin Bound, that was a fucked up book. Dan Waters and Danny doing the art on this. It's a very non-traditional style all around. It's got a detective type of vibe to it. It's a mystery is what it is. It's a mystery, and it's fantastic. And if you think for a second that this isn't another angle that DC's trying to take, like, okay, let's bring up some serious D-list characters and see what people talk about. The 10-eyed man, like he's E-list. Like he's got a whole different fucking category. And this character is so important to this series, and not just this series, the Arkham mythos at this point. What they're doing with the Arkham City mythos it's smart. It's really, really smart. And this is not Black Label. This is canonical. This is post, Joker War aftermath, A-Day or whatever, J-Day, whatever the fuck they called it. This is incredibly underrated reading material. So if I could just give one fucking recommendation for this entire show, as far as any DC book goes, it is Arkham City Order of the World. This is not like anything else going on at DC at all. And it's good. It's good. That doesn't make it the thing that's different. I want to clear that up. But it's different and good. So I don't know, man. Those are the 4 finalists.
Yeah, it stands out. I mean, definitely is worth checking out. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, just for DC though, but it's so tough because it's like you touched upon too. When you don't know the direction the company's going in as a fan, it's tough to really kind of start backing some books and really invest in that time in when there's so much other stuff going on.
And that's the other thing too, is invest is the key word. This shit ain't free, and it sure shit ain't cheap. I mean, that was another thing that happened this year. DC was like $4. Hold my beer. Here's $5, and I'm going to force you to pay for a book that you don't really want to read, or maybe you do, and it's your lucky day, and you only have to pay $1 for this quarter of an issue that we're gonna. I don't like DC's way of going about things at all this year, and I mean they canceled Justice League Dark to put it in the back of a bad Justice League book. And I'm going to go and say that. I mean, yes, that's a DC ongoing that nobody's fucking reading because it's essentially Naomi is what Justice League is right now. It's Brian Michael Bendis's Naomi. You're not going to give me my own Naomi book. I'm going to make her Superman in Justice League. And it's ruining things. It is. It's making things difficult. I'm not saying every issue of Justice League that Brian Michael Bendis has taken over has been bad, but I went from reading and never missing a Snyder issue to, is Naomi on this cover? I mean, that's because that's what the series is. And it's so Naomi. And I don't know where I was going with all that. I was going somewhere, I promise.
I will say, though, the Naomi show, very good so far.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep. They just had the premiere. Like, I thought it was an excellent premiere episode. Yeah, the DC CW shows just came back this week, with the exception of Flash. That's due back in March. But yeah, Superman, Lois, and Naomi back to back on Tuesday nights. That was a solid 2 hours of TV, though.
Cool. Right on. Good to know. Good to know. I know where I was going with all that. Brian Michael Bendis ruined DC Comics. That's what I was trying to say. Prices went up when he left Marvel and have continued to go up since. We have a winner here, people. We have a winner for Best DC Comics miniseries of 2021. And it is Nice House on the Lake, James Tynan IV. And, I'm going to get the name wrong again. Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Congratulations. This is a Boom book? No, this is an Image book, right? Image of the Week. Yeah, this is an Image title. Image proving again why they are the best publisher, indie publisher of 2021. And you know what? There's a reason why I don't do Best Big or 2, because the indies reign supreme this year. You know, they don't count. We all know that they know how to sell books. There's never a surprise. Oh, Marvel had a big year. That's never a thing. It's the indies that need their praise, and Image just coming through, man, coming through. Best Marvel miniseries of 2021. Go ahead.
Nice House on the Lake, DC.
Yeah, I knew that. That is DC. I did know that.
But you know what? It has an Image Comics vibe to it.
It really does. Thank you for that correction. That is totally a DC Black Label book. And you know what? It's not what they normally do. You know, it's not here's this alternate Harley Quinn story, because that's normally what their Black Label books are. You know, I mean, they have, and it's not a Hill House comic, you know, so I have no association with Nice House on the Lake and DC Comics for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the weird thing about it, because I know we were just talking about, like, with DC and just how if it's not connecting to the timeline and such, that it doesn't feel like it. That I mean, this book just pretty much is your benchmark for it, just from the vibe I get from it.
Yeah, totally, man. I'm not choked on my fucking seltzer. Live TV. Oh man, yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. That is because we're talking
Yeah, we're
DC
talking the DC
miniseries.
miniseries. But
Jesus
like,
Christ.
but like I say, but you know what though? It has that vibe to it. Like I said, I haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but just
Yeah,
the vibe, it just doesn't feel like DC.
I flipped through it. I'm not gonna lie. I have flipped through it. I just didn't get around to reading it because time is a thing,
Yeah.
and I after knowing that it is going to be delayed, and yeah, it puts no fire under my ass. That's for sure.
Mm.
But the people have spoken, and it's as good as they say. They have voted. Oh, best Marvel miniseries. There was a lot of Marvel miniseries to choose from this year.
Tough competition here.
There's so much competition here. Let's talk about our 4 finalists. Beta Ray Bill, Daniel Warren Johnson, just doing his thing. The best colorist Daniel Warren Johnson could ever ask for. Mike Spicer, gotta get some credit in that because that book is colored beautifully. MODOK Head Games. Yeah, I had Jordan Blum on the podcast, and that dude loves him some MODOK as much as I do, I think. And they did MODOK right this year, people. And Scott Hepburn just destroyed the fucking illustrations on this MODOK Head Games. I mean, they're some of the best. 3 of my favorite panels of the whole year came out of this miniseries. And he's that fucking good. It was so awesome having him scribble all over my books at Fan Expo because this dude killed it as an artist on MODOK. There's no denying that. Kang the Conqueror came out this year, and I picked up the first issue, and I thought this book is super smart, and I'm gonna want to read it all at once. I haven't got around to that yet, but the people that have read this book, I haven't heard anybody say a foul word about it. And it's a Marvel book. People say foul things about Marvel shit all the time. It's very rarely unanimous when it comes to Marvel content.
But the creative team behind this is top shelf all day.
Yeah. Oh man. I gotta say the fucking covers that Mike Del Mundo has been doing for this book, fantastic. What we got? Colin Kelly and Jackson Langsing and Carlos Magno. Sorry, beautiful fucking just under the radar team that I'm aware of now. And I love it when a book does that. And our 4th finalist is Hickman's fuck you to the X-Men universe, and he didn't leave in a fuck you manner. He wrapped it up well, very well. I'm so bummed that Inferno is his swan song to the Hickman verse. I mean, that's what he's created. He's created his entire new universe with the X-Men that is now slowly being unraveled, and it hurts my fucking balls to see it happen because it's happening. It sucks, and this is kind of his way of, I guess, unraveling that first thread, like letting him have it. You
have to figure for how this whole idea came about. And remember when House and Powers came out, everybody was all like up in arms, like, how could you do this? Where is this going? Moira McTaggart, oh my god. And just the fan reaction. And yet everybody fell in love with this Croca universe, to now see it come crashing down in such a subtle, slow build way. I mean, this is the only way it could end. This is the only way it could start going.
Do you remember the end of Civil War 2 at all? How they ended that with what's the fucking kid's name that saw into the future? He's like the Ulysses. Thank you. They were just like, you know what? You're a lot of problems, and like you can essentially unravel everything if you want just by being on screen. I mean, you're not really that interesting of a character. See ya. You're super powerful. We made you the most powerful Marvel being, to the fact that we created an entire 97 issue, including tie-in event.
Yeah.
Revolving around this character that has been unspoken of since. I feel like I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that they're doing that more right now. The way they sent her off, I mean, sorry, spoilers, but it just kind of feels like, you know what? We're done with this. You, as long as you're around, you fucking can blink and fuck up everything. And I mean, the whole story has to be about you. So we created too powerful of a character. I mean, I don't mean like powers wise, power level 9,000. I mean, they created a character that creates a lot of continuity problems potentially for, publishers, the publisher themselves and editors and shit like that. So without Hickman controlling her, I have a feeling she's just going to be fucking forgotten about. And I hope I'm wrong. If there was ever a time I hoped more that I was wrong. And, it's not.
I gotta say this though. I think with the powers that be that have been steering this, and Hickman's laid out, to my knowledge anyway, from what I've heard, the blueprints of how this is all supposed to go, but given the creators some freedom to run, I think it's going to end okay. Like, yeah. I have hope because, I mean, let's face it, we went through this very weird phase with the X-Men where Marvel, in my opinion, was trying to replace them with Inhumans, and it failed epically. And the X-Men were put on the back burner and nobody cared for a while because, let's face it, they were taken out of the limelight.
Yeah.
To now, it's like, could we end it as badly? And I don't think we can. I think that we're going to go in. It might not be the all-time greatest ending of all, but I think that it's going to remind us about why the X-Men are the X-Men. Why this team has resonated so long. And, at the end of the day, that's what I'm kind of looking for, because when you build up the hype as much as we've gotten, and the Hickman plays the long game better than anybody.
Nobody does it. I mean, I think that's the only game he knows how to play is the long game.
Yeah. That it wouldn't matter how it all went, but are we going to get an epic ending like Secret Wars? I don't think we ever were. I think that we were going to just get that shot in the arm that got the fans to care about the X-Men again.
Yeah, and it was just supposed to keep going. That was the thing. It wasn't really so much to be as an event as an eye-opener. Fucking see me, witness me, and then fucking hop in the passenger seat and we'll be cool. But in the meantime, get this taste out of your mouth from the last, I don't know, fucking 30 years of X-Men that nobody can understand really because everything's all over the fucking place. And, it's your fresh slate. I don't know, man. I really have this fear that, once you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, man. That's how it goes, and this is a fucking awesome playground to play in. It's going to be really hard for a lot of these new creators that they're bringing in to, steer the ship a little bit. The Vita Ayalas and the things like, those types of people that haven't really quite established themselves enough to be taking on these huge staple books. I don't know, man. I fear the worst, unfortunately. He can blueprint it out all he wants, but he's done now. It's up to these other people to. It's essentially up to Jordan White and what he allows at this point, and being that he's allowed things like X-Corps and shit like that. I have little.
But the thing about this. But the thing about this too, though, if you notice, and maybe it's just me being an old school X-Men fan, we start out basically, we the readers are reliving the X-Men history. Because if you think about it, we had Uncanny X-Men come back, and basically when we got the boom in the 90s and split off into the 14 X books a month, and they all went kind of crazy. That's essentially what we're getting now.
Right, but isn't that what drove people away?
It did until then. All of a sudden we got the Grant Morrison era where we started tightening everything up. And then things got kind of went in that direction because you get into that comfort level of oh, everything is new and it's clean slate, and but it's almost like that deja vu thing, which, I mean, to me, that's kind of what I feel we're going to get here, is just that full circle of reliving the X-Men history with these new characters until it all comes back to normal, and then we establish a new stat quo.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, is it's getting to that status quo, and Hickman was supposed to be the one to take us through all of the phases. And then he can, okay, I did it. I mean, you fuck this up if you can, but I laid it out. I mean, he's 2/3 of the way there, and he's like, you want to drive? We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to that status quo yet. And that's the thing that scares me. And I totally see what you're saying. I do. I just feel like he's letting go of the wheel a little bit early, and it's by his own decision, because he's already seeing things go in a way that he's just like, I didn't fucking, what is that? Why are you doing that? And that's at least from the reports that I'm seeing, it's not money, or it's not Substack. It's the fact that he's like, what the fuck are you doing to what are you doing? And then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. You drive. We get there. And he did go out. I will say this. He did go out in Inferno in a way that if it ended there, fucking fine. Like, give me whatever weird ass fucking X-Corp book you got coming at me next. I'm fine with an ending here. If that's how it had to be, I could see this as an ending. It's clearly unfinished, though. I mean, I need to know where the fuck Moira's going, and if she's even coming back. Like I said, I really feel like he undone a lot of stuff that he did just for the sake of, I don't think you can continue telling my story without me. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Here I am with an opinion, but
how dare you? How dare you?
I know. I'm not allowed to have opinions. Stupid opinions. However, this is not the book there is to talk about right now. We have a winner, and it's not Inferno. Spoilers. It is the best Marvel indie series of 2021 is Beta Ray Bill. Daniel Warren Johnson came in, and he did something that nobody saw coming. We thought we were, you think Beta Ray Bill, like, oh, this should be fun. This book, I mean, fun is not the way to describe this book. This book makes you think. There is some things to be said about this book, that specifically that second issue.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel, man, and I'm sure there's a lot of fucking nerds out there that can highly relate to that second issue, and that same just sympathetic tone carries throughout. Like, you have a real sympathy for this horse-faced fucking weirdo. He's not just oh, that guy's cool. No, the Beta Ray Bill has some shit to say. Like, he's people too, and I don't think there's anybody out there that has given this character the love that Daniel Warren Johnson gave this year in this 5-issue miniseries. And I mean, bringing Scuttlebutt to life. There's just so much happened that nobody is really talking about, but the people have spoken. And they agreed. Beta Ray Bill is the best thing.
Anytime you can have an Okada Rainmaker move happen from New Japan Pro Wrestling, you have my vote. Beta Ray Bill all fucking day.
Yeah, no, all day, man. All day. Yeah. I cannot wait for Love and Thunder. That is my most anticipated movie of 2022 or whenever the fuck it comes out. I want to see Beta Ray Bill on screen. I want to see it. I don't know who the fuck's gonna play him. I don't know who they're gonna give a horse face to, but I really don't care. The character, he's proven with this miniseries that he is so much more than just Thor's buddy that shows up every once in a while. He has his own universe, and he's got his own shit too to deal with. And god damn, I'm so glad that this book won the CHEERSIES, because it had my vote. It definitely had my vote. I mean, honestly, I think MODOK was a close second for me.
MODOK was a surprise hit, man. That book definitely caught me off guard. Because I've never really connected with MODOK, and I was like, after reading it, I was like, damn, that was a great book.
Yeah, and it was so different than I mean, Jordan Blum did some. I mean, he took some liberties with this character, but it was the liberties necessary to make folks like yourself care. You know, like give the character some substance. You know, he's not just the mental organism designed only for killing. He's also got a fucking weird imaginary family as well that torments him. And is that family actually imaginary? I mean, spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil it. There's, and I you know what's even more awesome from this series is that's I mean, well, obviously, it was the same showrunner that did the Hulu show that wrote the book. Right. He and Patton Oswalt, but Patton Oswalt also wrote this book, I believe. No, was it just Jordan Blum? I don't remember. I don't remember. But no. That's what the whole series was about, was this mini series. Like that's where it all stemmed from. Like there wasn't anything else in the MODOK universe that the Hulu series came from. It was 100. I mean, I guess I kind of backed that up a little bit, but 97% of the idea of that series came from this mini series, and I don't know, man. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Scott Hepburn's art on this is just some of the most metal fucking shit that you've ever seen. It was so fucking metal. Watching MODOK just go fucking balls out, just with everything he had, just destroy a room after being just belittled. You know, that's my MODOK. That's my MODOK. Oh man, that's my MODOK. They did it good. They did it real good. Oh fuck, that was good shit. We gotta continue on though. We gotta continue on. Oh man, there's some good stuff. Should we talk ongoings now?
Let's do it.
Oh, let's talk ongoings. We'll start with the indies. How about them indie ongoings this year, man? How about them? Oh shit. Let's start with our 4 finalists. And once again, this is 27%, 25%, 25%, 22% is how this came in through Twitter. Facebook was a little different, but this was a close race, a very close race. And I'm looking at this right now. Are all 4 of these image books? They are all 4 image books.
Yep.
Look at that. It says so much. It says so much. Well, let's get down to it. Let's start with our first finalist for best indie ongoing of 2021. The breakout book that was Department of Truth. Read Department of Truth, man. James Tynion the Fourth, and I mean, there's been a plethora of artists on it, but more. I want to say, I was just saying his name. I'm not gonna know. There's been a plethora of artists on there, and it's been fantastic. I like how it's kind of an anthology in a way that kind of connects together.
Yeah,
you know, you get your own little
very unique book.
Oh, dude, that DIA issue, the Denver International Airport being so close to home to me, I was like, this fucking, you guys are doing it, man. This is the shit people talk about here.
Yeah,
they got it all right. They got it all right. Our second finalist for best indie ongoing of 2021 was Philadelphia. Rodney Barnes, Jason Son Alexander, vampire horror in a way that nobody's doing. No. And it is fantastic. I'm a few issues behind, but I did get to play a good portion of catch up this year. And fucking series is so good, dude. I don't know if have you checked out Philadelphia at all?
When I swing through it, I gotta admit, I gotta play a lot of catch up, but when I swing through, I'm always glad I do, man. It's such a cool show.
Dude.
It's a cool story, cool everything.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to Rodney Barnes. Like, this series isn't going anywhere, man. It's not going anywhere. The third finalist for best indie, should I just call it image ongoing at this point? Indie ongoing 2021 is Noctera, Scott Snyder, Tony S. Daniel. Jesus Christ, Noctera. Like, this is one of them indie books that just got a Netflix situation going on. It's gaining ground. I knew after issue number 1, I take that back. I'm gonna back up. I knew halfway through issue number 1, I was like, this shit's getting developed. This is good TV that I want to watch. And I want to see this drawn out and animated or brought to life in any way I can, because this comic, as great as it is, I know that it's gonna blow the fuck up for in some sort of cinematic way. And Jesus Christ, man, this was the book that made me go, this was why I think Scott Snyder's a badass. This is why. Because I feel like it's been a minute since he's put out something really mainstream. I saw, you know, I mean, he did his Justice League, and he's got Undiscovered Country going, but he's got Charles Soule and this whole other team on that really just not being talked about as much anymore. But this Noctera, I feel like this was the Snyder book of the year for me personally. I haven't got around to reading his Comixology yet, but man, have you been reading Noctera?
I got the actual Kickstarter on my wall.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've been reading this since it first came. I love this book.
This is crowdfunded originally. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I've been checking this book out since, and yeah, this is vintage Snyder for me, and I'm like, I'm in my happy place when I read it.
I love it, man. I love it. And our fourth finalist, and it's no surprise to me in any way, shape, or form, El Radiant Black. Oh, fuck, this series is good. I know, first three issues, people talked a lot of shit. And then the fourth issue came out, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, I take it all back. I take it all back. And good. You shouldn't have said anything to begin with. It's Kyle Higgins, people. I mean, when has the guy ever steered us wrong? He's never done a bad book. You know, it's
back.
Radiant Black. Jesus Christ, this book is hitting hard right now, and I can't wait to see this universe expand. You gotta get a little deeper insight than most with this expansive universe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? You had a fucking kick-ass year too.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the biggest moments for the ODPH this year already happened, and we got to interview Kyle Higgins, Ryan Parrott, and Matt Groom about the super massive crossover event that's coming in February 16th now. It's pushed back by Image. That's the latest I caught on their website, and it is going to tie in with Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, which is a brand new book coming out by Ryan Parrott, and Inferno Girl Red, which Matt Groom is working on. And that one was originally a Kickstarter, and now I believe it's coming out later in the summer, if I'm not mistaken, with Image. And this is the first time all three characters are getting together under the same roof. And when we talked to them on the show, and it was a fantastic interview, they were all great. And their editor was there too, Michael Basittle. And all four of them were fantastic people too. And we were all just hearing about the massive crossover coming out. It's completely open for new readers. So if you're not familiar with any of the characters, you can jump right in. And then, and then when it happened, and the events from that is actually leading into Rogue Sun, which is coming out the following week, which Ryan Parrott is going to be like. If you haven't been checking his work out on Power Rangers and the Eltarian War, like I can't stress that. It's so fucking good. And I mean, everything Kyle Higgins has done with this book, which I have to say, when I let Pad read this, became an instant fan. Padawan J from the ODPH is now like 100% Team Radiant Black. This is like his new favorite book. We are definitely just in awe of just how this is probably the best superhero book out right now.
I mean, that's a bold statement, but I don't see a whole lot to really compare with it. I mean, can you consider Seven Secrets a superhero book? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't think any of them are really superheroes. They're all just people with a mission, you know? I mean, so that would really be the only thing I could, no, it doesn't count. So no, you're right. Radiant Black takes it by a mile. That's fucking awesome. I was way behind on this one. And then once I caught up, I was like, well, I'm not falling behind on this ever again. I mean, this series is amazing. So yeah, no, Radiant Black, it was a surprise breakout for me for sure. Because at first I thought, well, do we need another Power Rangers book from Boom, from the guy that makes Power Rangers? And that's not what this is.
Not even close.
No, it's so different. So with that being said, we do have a winner. The Cheersy for Best Indie Ongoing Series of 2021. And like I said, this is as toit as it gets. It could have been anybody's game. One more vote could have swayed this whole thing. But it goes to a horror series, and that is, I think 3 out of 4 of these are horror series. I'll narrow it down for you. The Department of Truth, James Tynion the Fourth, Martin Simmons is his name that I almost said the first time. Yes. Oh my God, the Department of Truth. It really is. It's a well-deserved win, and none of these would have been a surprise to me at all.
Yeah.
I all of these have huge followings behind them. I mean, the Philadelphia fans are. You get on Philadelphia, and you it's like you get bitten. No pun intended. I mean, when you start reading fucking Philadelphia and you get a groove with it, you're
hooked.
Yeah, there's nothing like it out there in the vampire world. And I mean, I know, vampire book, I've seen that. No, not this one.
No, not this.
Nope. It's so good. But the Department of Truth, it takes it. James Tynion the Fourth, making sure he gets a Cheersy this year. He's always going to make sure he attempts to get a Cheersy from this show. The guy puts out work, man. Puts out work. We thought we would talk about Batman, huh? Nope. Department of Truth. Oh, I love it. I love it. And honestly, there's so many great indie ongoings out there. I mean, as far as honorable mentions go, I mean, is there any other ones out there that you think might have deserved a nomination at the very least?
I will say, nomination-wise, I gotta say, The Harbinger by Valiant. I'm screaming that at the top of my lungs. That book, I mean, it just came out in the latter half of the year, but it's been on fire. If you haven't checked that out, you definitely need to. I mean, Valiant's just been doing so much good stuff. I could always just plug them all day, every day. And then Boom. I mean, Boom has been doing great work. I mean, I treat Barbaric as an ongoing. So, if it's going to chapter 2, I would say that. But yeah, just there's so much good stuff in the indies right now that I could sit here and just plug it for days.
Yeah. Well, I got another Image book that I wanted to add, but I knew it would be out of pure bias. But John Layman's Chew right now is still amazing. It's so good, and Dan Boltwood taking over on the art. It's always going to be a top tier book for me. It is my favorite thing in all of comics is John Layman's Chew universe. And is it the Rob Guillory, Tony Chew that we all know and love? No, but Saffron. I mean, even Saffron for the first 6, Tony for the first 6 issues, we didn't know who the fuck he was. Saffron just build it up. It's coming. And I gotta say, issue 11 and 12. After talking with John Layman, and you heard it on the podcast, he said it himself. He called in every favor he could for the last 25 years in comics to come together on issue 11 and 12. What that means, I don't know. But if you want a fucking crossover, my bet is the big, huge, giant fucking crossover of the year is going to happen in Chew. I'm just saying that. Yep. And it's only... because Image would only allow something like that because it's fucking Chew, and Chew is a staple in the Image universe. Just because it's spelled differently now, apparently it's not as popular, but that's bullshit because it is the best fucking thing, in my opinion. The Image is doing. Call it bias, call it what you will, but I call it fact, and it is fact indeed. Fact indeed. Well, hello there, aggressively relaxing. Welcome to the 2021 Cheersies celebrating. Well, I guess it's 2022 Cheersies celebrating the best of 2021, the 3rd annual. All right, back at it. More ongoings. We got DC ongoings to talk about, and really, there's
tough competition.
It's tough competition. This is. Oof. But I tell you what, when you look at the credits here, you start to see a pattern.
Yeah.
Starting with Nightwing. Would you have thought last year that we would be talking about Nightwing being the best DC ongoing of this year, pre-Tom Taylor?
Not pre-Tom Taylor, but the minute he was announced on this book, I think we've said this everywhere. This is going to be the best book DC has out.
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. No, pre-Tom Taylor, if I would have said Nightwing is a even nominee for best DC Comics book, it would have been that meme where they have all the like Shrek swords and shit on you, like say something to piss everybody off. Like that was my hot, would have been a hot take, I guess.
Yeah.
I was actually really enjoying Nightwing. Did I consider it best DC ongoing of the year? No. However, thoughts have changed. Creative teams have taken over, and Nightwing is undeniable. I'm going to keep saying that word, but it's undeniably amazing on every level. It is not like any DC book you're getting out there. It is building Nightwing's world in a massive way, while also not really just kind of shoehorning a bunch of shit in either. Everything that's happening is all organic and makes sense and flows well, and they're just doing amazing things on this series, man. You can't doubt it. Batman, Batman's got to get.
When you talk about, I was going to say when you talk about this run that Tom and Bruno are doing on this. This is those legendary creators that are teaming up and just running with it. And it's going to be a great book. Is the eventual day they leave is going to be like, we're going to still talk about this book for years after.
Oh, yeah. No, this is like I'm trying to think of ultimate DC creative teams. Wolfman Perez. Mm-hmm. People are going to know Taylor Redondo.
Yep.
The dude is making a massive imprint on a character that has been stepped all over and incredibly cherished and loved by everybody. Mm-hmm. But there's certain editors that felt certain ways about certain characters, and certain things weren't allowed to happen. And now look at it. Look at it now.
Dick Grayson. Yep.
Dick fucking Grayson. I love it. Batman was an ongoing last year.
Yep.
The fucking James Tynion, he had a couple of big arcs. He had the Joker War. He had Fear State. Those are really his two big imprints on the character. Did big things. I mean, how much of that gets etch-a-sketched away, we'll see. Yeah. But I mean, I don't consider any of it to be bad. Batman, there's not a single point in time where I thought they need to cancel this shit and start over. Batman did its thing this year. It did. I don't doubt it for a second. Suicide Squad is my dark horse. What Robbie Thompson is doing with this Suicide Squad series is incredibly underappreciated. They're taking these fucking wacko characters and making me love them and hate it when they die. That's the thing. That's the other thing is they're gonna fucking die. And normally I didn't care when reading the Suicide Squad book. But now all of a sudden there's these characters that I'm kind of getting attached to, and they're a part of this awesome storyline that has substance and appeal and makes me want the next issue. And I think they're doing an incredibly good job with Suicide Squad. And it's weird to say it's not Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad. I thought when Tom Taylor left Suicide Squad, it was like Robbie Thompson. I mean, why would you? Okay. But Robbie Thompson fucking filled those goddamn boots, strapped him up, fucking full sprint in this bitch. And I'm a fan of Suicide Squad. I thought it was going to make it 6 issues and they'd be like, oh, no, we told you it was going to be a miniseries. No, I think we're at like issue 11 now, I believe. So have you checked out this run at all?
Yeah, it's been surprisingly good. I mean, just because when you come off the heels of Tom Taylor, it's like, where do you go from here? And like, it's going to be a tough hill for anybody.
Right. But, and you would think that it would have been like, okay, we'll wait 6 months for people to forget what happened. No, it was like 3 weeks later, like, here's another Suicide Squad book. Like, what? Why? Tom Taylor's still alive. Why do you need to do that? What I didn't know was that he had some Nightwing and some Superman and shit. But you know, I mean, I guess we don't need him writing Suicide Squad when he's doing Nightwing and Superman. But I mean,
you put him on the team.
Well, God damn it! We can't Suicide Squad Nightwing, can we? Oh man!
You need a break for a day? Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Or I mean, you just bring Suicide Squad to Bloodhaven. That's all we really need to do. Let's travel through Bloodhaven for a day.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my dream pairing would be Deathstroke leading the Suicide Squad and pairing them in Bloodhaven.
Oh, that'd be some shit.
Just the wildest crap you could think of.
Oh, that'd be some shit. Isn't he doing some Task Force Z stuff?
Yeah, kind of.
Is he a part of Task Force Z? I think so.
Yeah, I think he just got added.
See, fuck, I'm an issue behind on Task Force Z. I don't think I've read the 3rd issue yet. That's another one that I'm.
Yeah, I got to catch up on that.
I'm loving Task Force Z. See, I like the undead Suicide Squad. To me, that's fun. I know there's a lot of people like, yeah. But I mean, you kill them. I want to see them come. I mean, I think that's a perfect idea. If you're gonna send people out there, you make sure they come back to life. And I think it's working. I think they're killing it with this Task Force Z stuff. But I don't know why I can't. Is Deathstroke a part of that? I don't know.
I thought he just got added. Like I was reading somewhere, I thought he just did. I haven't read the issue though. I'm behind on it.
I gotta know. And then our 4th finalist is Tom Taylor, John Timms coming in with Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Fantastic book.
Oh boy. Highly, highly popular. And then there was one polarizing issue that all of a sudden people were like, why? And I think they're silly because it didn't change anything. Every once in a while, Superman comes in and kisses a boy. You know, who fucking cares? You know,
exactly.
Who gives a shit? We're not getting full story arc sex scenes. You know, I don't know what the fuck you're bitching. You know, it's
love is love, man. It didn't bother me. I was like, it's a great story. So you know what? More power to it.
Have you seen what Tom Taylor's doing with every hateful comment that comes in?
No.
I got to know the name of this. It's called like the 18 something. Every single negative comment that he's received about Superman, he donates $50 to this charity.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, dude. Tom Taylor is not just the greatest comic book writer alive. He might be the best human. I'm just going to have to give him a hug to find out. But he hasn't offered me to come to Melbourne yet. So, let's see. Tom Taylor was a project. And let me see if I just type in 18, see what happens. Oh, that's not working. I really wish off the top of my head I had the name of this charity that he's been donating to. But the dude, he's doing amazing things. And Superman has done a world of real life good because of this book and Tom Taylor. And with all of the donations, I mean, $50 every time a donation comes, or every time a negative comment comes in about, or, you know, you've seen these comments, man. They're coming in heavy. I mean, this dude took a lot of money. I don't want to say pulled a lot of money out of his pocket. And for I don't know, man. The dude, his work speaks volumes for himself alone. His work outside of comics, he's just, I mean, a humanitarian of the year, CHEERSIES, Tom Taylor. I mean, fuck, even outside of comics, there's not a lot of people would do what he did. You know, that was a bold move to do that. I don't know if every donation was $50, but I know there's donations as high as $50, if not higher. I actually physically saw one of the toxic comments that came in, and his reply of, you know, his very, very steezy reply of, hey, I'm going to donate blah, blah, blah in your name. And motherfucker. That's what he does too, is he donates it not in his name, in the name of the toxic son of a bitches that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that for that reason alone, the book really should win Best DC Ongoing of the Year.
Yeah.
But we do have a winner. There, I mean, there were some good ongoings this year. I mean, Harley Quinn, Stephanie Phillips is doing with that character. I thought initially when they launched this series, I was like, why are you doing this? You know, can't we just read her in Suicide Squad? And no, she's developing the fuck out of this character, Stephanie Phillips, and not Bruno Redondo. The name will come to me. Or it'll come to me. Give me a second. It's amazing, though. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, but we got to name a winner, and the winner, by a goddamn landslide, is a Tom Taylor book, Nightwing. The award for best ongoing DC series of the year. And the minute the issue 78 came out, and I read it, and I was like, everybody else could stop trying. You guys could just coast from here on out if you want, because this is the series that is going to overshadow every single thing in the DC universe, including Superman coming out. Like, to me, Nightwing having a sister is a way bigger deal than Superman kisses boys sometimes. And it's not here, and not even all the time. Still likes girls too, you know. For all you fucking super hateful people out there, you know, it's I don't know, man. If you want to have that, I don't know. It's
I agree. Silly. No, but kudos to Taylor for taking such a toxic negative and making it into a positive. I think that's awesome what he's doing.
-18. Thank you so much. Oh, the villains demand coming through.
Hey, what's up, Evan?
Yes, Evan the Great. Oh, good to see you. Good to see you pop in, buddy. Yeah, no, -18. Thank you so much. I knew it was 18 something. So yeah, all of those donations. And I think I'm pretty sure I just saw a huge post from Minus. I didn't know who they were until Tom Taylor, and they mentioned Tom Taylor's name. I was like, what the fuck? What are you doing talking about comics? I got to know what you're doing now. And then that's how I learned about this whole thing. And then it just so happened within that same day, I actually saw one of the comments go down when, Taylor himself was like, I'm going to donate $50 in your name to the -18. Like, that's fucking awesome, man. That's so awesome. But he may not have won it for Superman, but you get nominated twice. Odds are you're going to win. And Nightwing is just, it's the best thing in DC Comics, people.
It might be the best thing in comics, period, right now. That book is just absolutely fucking killing it.
It is. It absolutely is. Well, let's see if it's the best thing in comics. We're going to talk about Marvel ongoing now, and maybe we can compare the two. I don't know. I got a minute. Best Marvel ongoing of 2021. And this was a tough one for me. There's a lot more Marvel ongoings than there are DC. This narrowing this list down was incredibly difficult, but I did it. We did it. Now let's talk about these 4 finalists here. Daredevil from Chip Zdarsky and mostly Marco Cacchetto. Here's the thing. I thought that once issue 25 came out, all of the praise for Daredevil would go out the window when they made Elektra Daredevil. I was like, oh, cue the toxic baba. Nope. People still highly, highly regard Daredevil as Marvel's best ongoing series. And for something that fucking drastic to happen and people not be swayed, it speaks volumes for Chip Zdarsky's writing ability. Because, I didn't stop liking it. I just thought for a second, I was like, this is not going to be the thing everybody's talking about anymore because it's a girl. No. And I'm somebody that actually has gone on record of not liking Elektra. I'm not an Elektra fan. I think that she ruins the Matt Murdock character by just constantly, but this bone, it's fuck. You got to ruin everything. Banging. No. And especially after reading this Daredevil Woman Without Fear that just came out last week, I love Elektra in this position. She can rock that costume to the fucking wheels fall off, man. There could be 2 Daredevils. I don't give a shit. She's killing it. She's killing it. Series, everything she's doing is making sense. She's not completely overshadowing Matt Murdock, or at least she didn't during this whole thing. Because I mean, they went back and forth. He played it very well. When Matt Murdock was in jail, she was fucking being Daredevil. Well, was it Mark Murdock was out being Matt Murdock, and normally that would be really confusing. If I were to just say that to a new reader, I'd be like, so Elektra's Daredevil, and Matt Murdock is in jail as Daredevil, and Mark Murdock, who you may not have heard of, is Matt Murdock. I mean, most people would be like, what? Nah, I'm past now. But it's so fucking good.
I mean, Daredevil has been Marvel's most consistently good book for years now, and everything Chip's done on that run too has just been nothing short of phenomenal as well. And you think about the lineage of writers and artists.
Yeah, Charles coming off of the heels of Charles Soule's run. It was another one. I was like, why are they doing this so soon? Like, let this resonate for a second, because this is Charles Soule's run is a fucking classic. Why do we need something already? Like, why do you need to try to cleanse our palate? And Chip Zdarsky came in and just fucking murdered it. You know, it's great series for 2 years now. 2 years straight. 2 years straight, Daredevil has been consistently amazing. Darth Vader. It's a Marvel ongoing, people. You may not realize this. It's a Marvel ongoing, and it is fabulous. It is. Darth Vader is the biggest gangster in comics, and I say that as the world's biggest Kingpin fan. There is nobody more gangster. Every single fucking line that Greg Pak writes for Darth Vader, I'm like, I want that fucking tattooed on my face. No one will ever fuck with me if people think that's what I'm thinking. He is such a fucking badass, man. And there is never, just when you think like, oh, they're doing Darth Vader kind of dirty, he comes back, he's like, fuck you, Palpatine. No one else says fuck you, Palpatine. Vader says fuck you, Palpatine throughout this whole series, and he does it well. And it's introduced amazing characters like damn it, why can't I remember his name? Oh, I gotta know now. This is driving me nuts.
Christian the Bounty Hunter that was just on Boba Fett.
No, that was the Kieran Gillen run. That did that one. I'm thinking did Destic come out of Darth Vader? I think Destic was a character that came out of Darth Vader. Haven't really got to play with her quite that much. What is this other? This is the first time in the history of anything that I've ever forgotten this character's name because he's so badass. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm waiting for him to pop up in the new Boba Fett series, to be honest.
Especially just with what Vader's doing. You got to think, for being the legendary character that he is, and for what Pack has done with giving him such a depth and just being such a force of nature in his own right, has been just nothing short of fantastic. This to take that lineage of the character and really just translate it to where is he really working for Palpatine, or is Palpatine working for him? Like, that's something you question yourself the entire time.
Yes. And that's what makes him so fucking gangster. Like, that's and that's Vader's so he wouldn't have to do anything his own. Sure, he can go through and wipe out armies all on his own, and but that's another thing I love about this run is Vader is not necessarily a villain in this. Like, I often see him like doing the right thing more than anything. Sure, he still wants to kill the fuck out of Luke.
Oh yeah.
But as far as especially that last issue, I think it was issue 10 or no, I'm sorry, it wouldn't have been 19, 18, whatever it was. Very recently, the most recent issue, like he like saves a whole group of people. Like, he takes out a bunch of shitheads, and like the way he does it, like, it's very heroic. It's not just because that's the right thing to do in that moment that helps his cause. He did it because he felt like it was the right thing to do. And his cause there or not. And that's just, I don't know. I always looked at Vader as the only way he's a real villain is because, I mean, he has a shit boss and he wants to kill our hero. Other than that, like, Vader was right. You know, like,
when you can write that kind of confliction in a character,
right?
That's where you
that's
really
the word. Yes, confliction. Very conflicted. Very, very conflicted. Ochi of Bastoon, by the way, is the character that I'm thinking of. Ochi's a fucking badass, and honestly, I'm gonna be really, really surprised if he doesn't show up in this Boba Fett series. I feel like it's
probably do. The only thing is with the Boba Fett series is 6 episodes, so it's gonna be a short one. So I'm hoping it gets renewed. So maybe chapter 2 he'll show up.
It's possible. I mean, even just the mention. But I mean, we're talking bounty hunters here, so I mean, any bounty hunter is possible fair game in the series, right? I mean, I don't know.
You would think so.
You would think. But yeah, no, this Vader series has spawned some absolute amazingness, and I do believe it to be the best Marvel series out there. My personal opinion. You know what else came out this year that I wasn't too sure about because it's a very polarizing character. That's Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, people love Moon Knight, but it's often difficult to write good Moon Knight. You know, Jeff Lemire did a great job. He had an awesome run, but the character, when reading him, can oftentimes be confusing on account of how confused he is all the time. So, I mean, there's nothing confusing about this series, man. Jed McKay is fucking killing it. Steve McNiven's art. Like that right there. That should just...
That's all you need to say.
Steve McNiven's art. You don't need to say anything else. You're absolutely right. And it doesn't matter what the book is. It could be Steve McNiven's art on anything. And it's going to shine. The guy's a legend, an absolute great, an all-time. So this series has success written all over it, man. And I got to say, the series it's good. It is fantastic. It's what I want. And then Moon Knight ongoing, because I'm not going to lie, the last Moon Knight I read, it was just, I had to stop and reread every issue at time. Not every issue, but a lot of the issues. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And they're not so much playing into the multiple personalities so much in this run as his duty. And, you know, just coming off of the fact that he just had the Phoenix Force and doesn't have that anymore. And, you know, Khonshu isn't his homie right now. So they're more so developing that as they are the fact that he's got 70. Okay, it's like 5 different personalities, but 5 personalities coming out of one character. Reading it can oftentimes be confusing to read, you know, and it's a character that needs to be developed on screen. I think really understand the depth of this character until this series, and the series is changing my opinion of that. Now I'm thinking, I mean, as much as I want the Moon Knight series, I don't find it nearly as necessary now because I feel like I'm getting what I want out of this, and it's fantastic. I mean, I'm loving it. Have you been reading Moon Knight at all?
The trailer. I see. Moon Knight is so hit and miss with me. I do like it when it's well done. You know, like because he's such a complex character to read. So I kind of dabble here and there. Like I don't do sustained runs on it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But this one I definitely dug, and then I can't wait for the trailer to drop tomorrow.
That is tomorrow, huh? Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Game.
Yeah, man. Do you have any speculation as to who Ethan Hawke's gonna play?
I was reading online that they're trying to say Dracula, but I think that's so far of a stretch.
Man, I don't know. I know they're trying to bring in Blade and everything. Ethan Hawke is Dracula. I just don't like that casting. I could see them eventually bringing in a Dracula, but I don't think it'd be Ethan Hawke. People are saying Sun God.
Ooh, that would make more sense. Just knowing Moon Knight's Rogues Gallery, I think they're going to do somebody on that level. Like I think Dracula's. Everybody is so fanboying out right now for a Midnight Suns series. Yeah. And I think everybody's trying to say like, oh, Marvel's doing a slow play for it. I just don't see it. I think what they're going to do is establish Moon Knight, and then whatever version of the Avengers you're going to get in the next cinematic universe film, he's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
That I think that eventually something will cause them to split, because if I'm going to do my speculation about the direction of the MCU, I think the next big movie you're going to get is Avengers Forever, the Kurt Busiek story from way back when with
Okay.
Kang. And I think from that, you will see the Midnight Suns get splintered off after it's all said and done for whatever reason. And then, you can kind of dabble in what you're going to do there. But I think they're going to keep it self-contained to really establish like Moon Knight is not just a Batman wannabe. He's a very deep character. And then I'm almost just wondering is like Moon Knight definitely pushes the envelope when you read an issue. It's not exactly Disney Plus friendly. So
right. See, that's what has me more confused than anything. Like I saw this going to like Hulu or something. Moon Knight on Disney Plus just sounds weird.
I think eventually it is going there. But
Yeah.
I think they want to test the waters of how far can we push that PG-13 rating on Disney Plus without going completely over the edge. Because, I mean, let's face it, Mandalorian has kind of teetered a little bit here and there, and Boba Fett too, but I mean, nothing super like Frank Castle level, shall we say.
Right.
But
I mean, just from the like the little teaser we saw, like Moon Knight was beating the fuck out of whatever the fuck he was beating up, but it wasn't like a Batman Adam West type of punch. Like he was, I don't know, kind of like Robert Pattinson beating the fuck out of whatever that thing or that person was in the shadows. And I don't know, man, it's looks a little more hyper violent than I would expect out of Disney, but I'm not gonna be mad at that. I mean, fuck, if you want to bring Deadpool and all that shit to Disney, and like this is your kind of like taste into it, let's see how well it does. Are we allowed to have R material eventually? I mean, I don't know. Moon Knight feels like it should be rated R, but at the same time, I don't know.
See, I think, like I said, what I think they're going to eventually wind up doing is you have this show on Disney Plus, it's going to air, and then they're going to move it to Hulu and do not a Defenders line, but you'll see a bunch of shows coming out under that kind of banner, like whether it's Midnight Suns, because I think at some point you'll see John Bernthal back as Frank Castle. I think that you're going to see a Ghost Rider show of some sort, and I think that they're going to eventually just roll those to Hulu and just maybe you'll see those characters dip into a Disney Plus show here and there. But I don't think for like a great extended run. But Moon Knight's going to be the benchmark everything gets set for. That's the pace car.
It really is, man. Like there's a lot of eyes on this series right now for sure. And I mean the comic book series as well. I mean this is going to drive a lot of that. I mean Moon Knight doesn't have the most massive of rogues galleries or storylines. Like he's always just part of it. There's not a whole lot of that Moon Knight storyline. He's just Moon Knight was there. And now Moon Knight's gonna, we're getting the Zodiac coming back and all of that other shit. Like that's the one that I'm hoping for, to be honest. I don't want to say the Zodiac. I mean, that's what they introduced in this run. I want to see him play off the comics. There was nothing that would make me happier than the comic book coming out and then that same year, whatever the Disney Plus is playing into the thing that just came out. Yeah. I mean, I cannot wait for fucking continuity to catch up cinematically so that we could start doing that. I mean, because you can't skip everything, obviously. But I mean, Marvel's also taken their liberties as well and jumped around. So who knows, man? Who knows? But this Moon Knight run is awesome. We have a fourth finalist. We just went on and on about Moon Knight, but it well deserved though. Well deserved, because I didn't think that when this series came out, we'd be talking about it even being in the talks, because based off of, the history of this character being written, we all love him. We all want to love him. We all want to read. And it's, at least for me, it's been hard till now. The fourth finalist that made it, very divisive book. Amazing Spider-Man. Nick Spencer's run came to an end. The people that defend Amazing Spider-Man, they are frontline, man. Frontline defenders for this book. And then there's people that just kind of wish it never happened. I'm that guy. How do you feel?
Well, you talk about those frontline defenders, and I do a show with him each and every week Padawan J.
He's a fan.
Yeah, he loves this book. For me, you know, I have to say I'm down the middle. Like, I really don't hate it, but anytime, okay, there's like 3 Spider-Man things you bring up in front of me and you will get an angry reaction. Clone Saga, Omit, One More Day. Anything involving that, you immediately will get me going, why am I reading this? It just doesn't matter. Like, I can't stand Ben Reilly or any other clone after him. It's just does not connect with me. And the fact that you tried playing off Harry Osborn, Mephisto, whatever you want to try doing. Sorry if I'm spoiling it for you. Now I'm going on my rant. Like, this is one of those books I'm just like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, but now you're dabbling in a story, in my opinion, is one of the most egregious ones in all of comics by trying to rectify the Peter MJ marriage or whatever you're trying to do here. And it's like, I understand what Spencer was trying to do, and I'm like, okay, if you want to try dabbling there, it's either sink or swim. And I thought it sank more than it swam for me. But like I say, my co-host loves this book, will defend it to the death. And with Spider-Man, you're gonna get that kind of reaction, especially when you're dealing with those kind of stories. That when you talk to any comic Spider-Man fan, not the movies, the comic fans, you're going to get that reaction. And like I say, anytime you mention Omit or One More Day and that hot nonsense that's going on with that, I'm sorry, like, you're going to get this reaction. Like, why are we bringing this back? And the only thing worse is if a clone was involved. Which, hey, enough said.
Yeah. No, I wasn't a big fan of Spencer's run. However, the little mini teams that have been coming on. I know you're not a Ben Reilly fan. I'm a Ben Reilly fan. I like Ben Reilly. I can't say I was a giant fan of how he came to be, but him as a character, and I'm interested. More so because he had a really cool fucking costume. And
yeah, he has the best
Spider-Man costume. And it's a little bit harder for me now because it's not the same costume. Like, I like the fucking cut-off hoodie, man. The old Belichick look.
Yeah.
It was working for him. But and now, like, the off-centered Spider-Man logo hurts my head. But I don't hate this. I don't hate this current run that they're doing right now with Ben Reilly. I really don't. Like, I'm actually reading Spider-Man again, which I haven't. And I don't know. I think I stopped at issue 30. And what did we get to? Like 75 issues, 85 issues, something like that.
And now we're starting a new #1 too.
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about that for a second. How do you feel about this creative team? Was it Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr.? Do we need a new #1 at this point, or is it just poor timing? Why not just keep it going? If you're going to go, Spencer did 85, but we're going to do these other 10 with these random ass creators, and let them all do their own Spidey thing. I don't understand why now. Why now? Just bring them on and fucking keep it going. I want to see a Marvel 200th issue. Like, I really want to see. Fuck, I would have loved to have seen a 100. That would have been fucking awesome. But
my reaction with this is, the minute I heard they're going back to a #1 was why. Then I thought about it and went, oh, what was the biggest movie in the world to come out? Oh, let's try cashing in for mainstream fans thinking they're going to go to the shop. Hey, you can get a brand new #1 jumping on point.
Yeah, and then they're going to open it up and go, ugh.
Yeah.
Junior's art. I'm like, that's not how ears look. That's not what. I don't know, man. Like, I don't mean to be that guy, but John Romita Jr., he doesn't, he should do a mini series and stick with that. He's going to get this series canceled. He's going to get it canceled.
Yeah, I don't mind his art that much, but I just go, like, why are we hitting the reset again? And it's just like, keep it a legacy number and call it a fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, do we not forget the powers that be? Do we not forget that it's very cool to say Wolverine's first appearance was Incredible Hulk 181? Like, that's a comic shop term. It's not like Volume 6, number 1. Like,
Right.
seriously, when you start forgetting of those memories you have at the comic shop, how are you supposed to instill that in new readers? And I think that that's a point that we often forget in this day and age. It's a business, but still, there has to be something of tradition and nostalgia to really capture new readers and have them hooked and go long term. If you're going to keep hitting a reset button every 2 years because of a new creative team or whatever, you're really losing the focus of what builds a shop. Because why am I going to go and spend money on a Marvel book if you're going to just retcon it and then start over? I'm sorry, like, for me, that's a struggle point.
Well, their argument to that is number 1, sell books, number 12s don't. And here's my argument to that. Create a fucking miniseries. Let me keep my ongoing. You create miniseries every fucking day. Just keep creating them. Number 1s all goddamn day. Do 1-shots. There's your fucking answer. 1-shots all day. Spider-Man 1-shot, 1-shot. Do it. But make sure that I get Spider-Man fucking 99, you know? And then 100, 101, and 102. And if you want to change fucking creative teams, good. Cool. I wish you would have done it a long fucking time ago. But oh man, I don't understand this. Well, it's just number 1 sell money. And the only indies, that's fine. If that's the way you want to do it in indies, sure. You know, volumize the hell out of shit because it's one thing. But do we really need to? Well, we got to make sure people know who Spider-Man is. Is that necessary?
No,
absolutely it's not. It's never necessary. It's always a fucking cash grab for the wrong reasons, and there's other ways of getting that cash. There is. I mean, do another fucking Spider-Man life story. You know, there's a Spider-Man number 1 for it, and that had some fucking substance to it. You know, that had more substance to it than all goddamn 85. I'm sorry, Pad. All 85 issues of this Spencer run. You know, there's one issue that I liked. One issue, and that was the J. Jonah Jameson podcast issue. Only because you know, I mean, that was it. That was the only one that hit home with me. This whole fucking Craven Sun shit that they did throughout this is like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
really. And what did you really do? Because spoilers, Craven just showed up in fucking Daredevil. You know, what did you really do? Because somebody else was like, I don't like what you did. He's back. They just fucking retconned your bullshit. You know, I don't know, man. It's Spider-Man. They need to figure this shit. If there's one title and Marvel need to figure out, it's Spider-Man. You know, that's their Superman. That's their Batman.
Your flagship.
You're gonna get that close to 100 issues. You're gonna get that close and be like, John Romita Jr. You just stop selling your comic. I want you to know that. They just stop selling this comic. You know, I'm sorry, nothing against Zeb Wells. You can't have Zeb Wells writing fucking amazing Spider-Man. You know, you can't. You know, it's got to be a fucking high caliber writer or somebody that is established. They know how to, at the very least, write an incredible Spider-Man story.
You know what? What they should do, go get Donny Cates and put him on there. He's your flagship guy. Just put him on the book. You saw what he did with Venom. You know, give him the real keys. Right.
No, I mean, that's what we're all waiting for. I mean, as soon as I was like, they're relaunching Spider-Man, I was like, and who's Donny Cates going to be drawing with? You know, who's drawing for Donny Cates? You know, what we all need is fucking Tom Taylor to write Spider-Man because he's already proven that nobody writes him right now as good as he does. But
but that ain't happening. He's locked up at DC long term.
Yeah. No, I guess he could do miniseries at Marvel because he could still do Dark Ages. Or is that just like when the contract ends? That's where I'm confused.
I think it's when the contract ends, like he's done.
That sucks.
I think. I think.
That hurts my heart. No Tom Taylor at Marvel. There's no hope anymore. Let's just end this show. Right. We have to pick a winner. I gotta pick a winner, and let's recap our finalists real quick. We've got Daredevil, we've got Vader, we've got Moon Knight, and we got ASM. The Cheersie goes to, for best Marvel ongoing of 2021, it goes to Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cacchetto, Daredevil. 2 years in a row. 2 years. 2 years. First back-to-backer ever in the history of the Cheers to Comics podcast. It might even be a 3-year in a row, now that I think about it. It might even be 3. Venom might have took it the first year. I know Venom and Daredevil were...
the first year.
Yeah, but 2 out of 3, man, and then back to back at that. Daredevil is here to stay, and I'm very anxious to see how people receive Daredevil Woman Without Fear. I know that she has a place in the Marvel universe. There's I'm gonna stop talking there. She's got some shit coming to her, man. She's gonna be a part of something fucking awesome here very, very soon this year, and I am excited. And I Daredevil continues on. I mean, it's. I think we're gonna get a Woman Without Fear. I think it's gonna go 12 issues, and then it's gonna, we're gonna get another Daredevil #1. But whatever. It is what it is. There's at least a method to this madness by just kind of introducing her as the lead of this book. She's not sharing the spotlight with Murdoch. She is the lead, and this relaunch kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I also kind of feel like, couldn't you have just done that at issue 25? But I don't know, man. I don't question Chip Zdarsky. The dude knows what the fuck he's doing. He writes the shit out of Matt Murdock and Elektra Natchios and everybody else that has been a huge staple of this book. Detective Cole. I mean, who would have thought Detective Cole, such a fucking white bread name? This is a big guy. Every time he pops up, I'm like, oh, this guy fucking got some shit to say. Yeah. He's just some fucking dude in a goddamn duster. Like every other goddamn fucking officer of comics out there. Harvey Bullock. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, man. But congratulations to Daredevil. It is so well deserved. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Can you imagine if we did this last week? We are through with our best series. I have to ask though, man, is Daredevil above Nightwing, or is Nightwing?
Nightwing is king. Nightwing. I'm sorry. Nightwing is the best comic out right now. Daredevil can be the silver medalist right now, but there's no shame in saying there's a silver medalist. There's like, if you are placing anywhere on anybody's list, you're doing something right.
I mean, I agree.
And that's the big thing too. It's, for me, no, the best book out right now is Nightwing, hands down. Daredevil is doing what Daredevil does, and I think that's the reason why Nightwing edges it out. Nightwing has been great at times, but consistency, I think, throughout the inception of the character, getting a solo run to present, has had some dips here. But if you think about how Daredevil has been consistent with the top writers of Marvel leading it, and you can go and the art teams too, and you can see how they have just made Matt Murdock, who really was not a household name for a good stretch of time, into one of their most high-profile characters and one of their always consistent reads, no matter who's on the book. But Nightwing, this is the Renaissance run right now. Like, every time you pick up an issue, it's something special.
Yeah, every time, man. Every time. Let's get into our best individual creators of the year, man.
Sure.
This is where it all comes down to, man. I mean, we got to praise the people that be. We could praise the books. We love the books, but that's why I do this podcast. That's why I have a creator corner segment, is to spotlight the actual people that make the fucking content that we are all just eating up every single fucking day, whether it be through Netflix, through the silver screen, or through these little fucking floppy magazines. These creators are the backbone behind it all, man. Everybody down from the letterer and to the editor, everybody. I mean, this is where it's at. I don't have a best editor category because let's face it, there are not a lot of household names out there, but every single creator out there involved in making these silly little books. This is where this is what they're all waiting for. They're waiting to see if they got their cheersy right. Let's start with letterers, man. The most underappreciated talent in the industry, the most important talent in the industry. Without proper flow, we don't know what fucking to read next. So these letterers, man. there's something amazing. I've got 4 finalists here. Dave Lentz, he was on Good Boy most recently, but it was really Good Boy's lettering in that made me go, what the fuck is that? This is awesome. Like, it's not very often that you stop and admire the lettering, but the lettering in Good Boy, Jesus Christ. Like, now every time I see Dave Lentz's name, I'm like, fuck, this is one, all right, a big part of the reason why I like this fucking book.
Yeah.
Dave Lentz, a letterer. HDE, these letterers with their funny pseudonyms. HDE, he's done a bunch of stuff. He letters a lot of stuff for Ryland Grant, but his name is frequent in the industry. So I got to give a shout out there. I mean, it's another thing that I notice when I see HDE letters. It's just, the book fucking flows. Yeah. It's always got the coolest fucking fonts, and it's the shit, man. Somebody that we don't often consider a letterer, only because he's the greatest writer in all of comics. John Layman. John Layman is a fucking fantastic letterist. I don't know what the proper nomenclature is there. His work throughout Chew is, and then I think, did Mars Attacks Red Sonja? That was last year, I believe. But I mean, yeah. It's everything that he does, man, is fucking incredible. And I mean, even through Chew alone, his lettering, I mean, carries that book. It really helps carry that book. I mean, you don't see it's so animated, man. Nobody animates fucking words without movement like John Layman. It's just hands down. There's nobody in my eyes, at least. And then our fourth finalist, you know him from everything, Taylor Esposito. This guy's name's all over every great book that we read. So, oh man, there's some great letterers out there, but those are the 4 that we had it narrowed down to. And this could have gone anyway. And really, the our winner for the best. Oh, let me get out my. I'm gonna confuse people here. Best letterer 2021 in all of comics is a name that is often underappreciated, but seen so often. Taylor Esposito. It's well deserved. And any of these letterers, just fuck, man. If I could hand out 4 Cheersies, and I guess it's my show, I could, but we like to play not fair here. It's not like that. You got to work for this shit, God damn it. You got to work for it. These guys all put in a fuck ton of work, and Taylor Esposito, he inched out ahead, man. The fans have spoken. The fan base is there. It's so awesome to see a fan base for letterers, and lots of votes on this one too. So it wasn't just like, out of the 5 people that voted, a couple of them more than no. This was all over the place, and it's awesome to see. I love handing out a fucking Cheersy to a letterer, man. Anytime. Colors. The thing that if I go to a shelf and I just crack open a book out of curiosity, not knowing anything, there's the first thing I'm looking for is how vibrant is this book? Does it pop? Does the color palette mesh with what I feel the story should be based off of a title that I've never read before? However, that's what I look for first. It is the colors, and there's some amazing colorists out there. Some often underappreciated just because, most of the time the illustrators overshine the art, and all too often color artists don't really get a billing on the front cover for whatever fucking reason. If the book's in color, why isn't the colorist stated on there, as well as the letterer? Everybody that is involved in this book should have. I get it; it costs money to print, but I mean, really, a few extra names. It's it pains me when I don't see color artists credited on covers of comic books, especially with as amazing as they are out there. Now, there's a color artist out there you may not be hyper familiar with, but I promise you will be soon. The man is on the rise. He's got Monty Michael Moore, behind him, giving him all types of work with Loco Hero and Blood and Bullets. But one of my favorite colorists out there, an indie creator by the name of Sean Callahan. And you're going to know his name in a much higher caliber. Am I allowed to say? That's all I'm going to say. You're going to know his name in a much higher caliber here very, very soon.
All right.
Very, very soon. Oh, man, I'm so excited. But Sean Callahan, that man has color palettes for days. He's not a one-trick pony. He has textures galore. He's a fucking phenom. We will know the name Sean Callahan. He's studied under Chris Sotomayor, so some of the greatest color artists out there. I'm surprised. Why isn't Chris Sotomayor on there? Whatever. There's some great fucking colorists out there, and Sean Callahan, he's gonna be known. So I had to put him out there. I'm gonna help you by knowing his name. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you learn his name now before it's too late. Because and he's beyond just a color artist as well. Sorry, I said too much. I fucking said too much. Mike Spicer, any man that colors the lines and pencils of one of the greatest out there right now, Daniel Warren Johnson, you got to have chops. You got to have chops. And Mike Spicer is always the guy to do it. Not that that's all he does is color Daniel Warren Johnson's art. Mike Spicer's all over the place now. But the man has a very recognizable tone and color palette that I enjoy 100% of the time. I gotta say the name again. Jean-Francois Belleux. Oh man.
Yeah.
Fucking. Have you seen The Me You Love in the Dark? Have you opened up that book? Has that? Oh my God, that color palette. It stays throughout the entire thing. There's never a point in time where like, what the fuck is going on here? No, he keeps that same palette and tone throughout the entire book, as it should, and only a great color artist would be able to do. And it's not just for that book. Jean-Francois Belleux has worked on a few things, but just most notably, The Me You Love in the Dark. Like that in itself, if he only worked on that, he would still be a front runner nominee in my eyes. That man colors. He colors. He does some great shit over Ryan Brown's art as well. I can't get over his work, man. Such a unique's not really the word, but just I don't know, man. I could pick out his distinctive. That's what I'm looking for. A distinctive way of just bringing life to line work. It's beautiful. And then Edson Ferreira. That man colors as well. He does a lot of work with Ryland Grant. He did. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but I believe he did some work with. Nope, I take that back. I was gonna say Monster Matador, but it was not him. In fact, this dude's colors are. He creates a whole nother dimension when he colors things. He makes things seem like everything's three-dimensional, and it's time consuming to do in a comic book, and it needs to be acknowledged that somebody can do it within a time frame, keep a deadline, and not make it look rushed. There's never anything rushed with Edson Ferreira's colors, and I have to bring light to that. I have to. I mean, there's a lot of color artists out there, and there's a lot of them that are just fine. But these four really stand out. I mean, they do things differently, and that's for our finalists this year, man. Do you have any colorists that stand out to you that we should be talking about that I fucked up and didn't add?
No, you nailed it right on the head. I mean, Jean-Francois was my pick for this one.
Yeah. Oh man, that man can fucking paint.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well. That's the only French I know is Jean-Francois Belleux. And our winner is the Cheersie goes to the best color artist of 2021 in all of comics, not just some of comics, all of comics. Oh man, the man that creates a whole nother dimension to the way we visualize these things, Edson Ferreira. Oh fuck, he's good. He's so good, I could even roll my R's properly when I say his name. And I can't do that any other name. Can't do it. He's so good. The jump. I mean, that it's not just because he drew me on. It colored me on Where did I go? You want to see it again? What did I do with it? Oh, look at those colors.
Yeah.
Look at those colors. Oh my God. It's so lifelike. And that's he doesn't just do that for the cover. This is interiors. This is what the interiors look like. That is fucking art. That is art. I gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Everybody else does too. And that's, the fans have spoken. Oh, it makes me so fucking happy. We're getting down there now, man. We're really getting down there. Oh, how about Best Illustrator?
Yes.
This is
tough field. Tough field.
This is such a tough field. Oh, man. We have 4 finalists, though. We do have 4 finalists, and I'm a fan of all of them. The first one being the man behind Silvercoin, Michael Walsh. As stated earlier, for all of the reasons earlier, the dude just what he's able to do with these anthology-like stories and keep it still feeling within the same realm, even though it was all very different. Mm-hmm. None of these stories go together, and the fact they have a common theme of the coin.
Right.
Michael Walsh is an absolute beast, and he was. I don't know if I want to call him a breakout because I mean it wasn't really his first year in comics, but I think he really broke through some ceilings this year, man. I really do. Silvercoin was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fabio Alves. Man, let's see. The Jump. Like I said, this was kind of my bias pick in there just because for obvious reasons. But fuck, this dude has a fan base. Yeah. This dude has an incredible fan base, and that makes me so happy to see that I'm not the only one out there that appreciates this man's talents. I'm a big fan of Fabio Alves, and if he also Monster Matador as well. He doesn't just work with Ryland Grant people. He's a multi-talented person. He can work with anybody. I want to see him work with everybody, as a matter of fact. I think this guy deserves Marvel work and DC work, and he's top tier artist for sure.
Yes.
It complements so well with Edson Ferreria's colors, man. Those two, like, that's the fucking team. Like, that's the next Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer is Fabio Alves, Edson Ferreria. Oh, it's coming. Andrea Moody, Bunny Mask and Maniac in New York. Very distinct art style for sure. Colors, his own stuff as well. So just as an illustrator, it's fucking awesome. It's just a unique style that I can't take my eyes off of, and other people agree. And then fourthly, probably the most mainstream name on this, Ryan Stegman. Fucking Venom, that happened this year, and it was something to see. That's for sure, man. I mean, say what you want about the story, but you can't deny that art. Never was the art bad one time. The man is a workhorse. He doesn't simplify a goddamn thing. That's why he's got to take breaks in between arcs. It's because he doesn't simplify anything. He makes sure that he puts every goddamn line in there that needs to be in there. Not a line more, not a line less. That's why Stegman is top tier.
It's always impressive seeing his work. Always impressive.
Yeah, no, the man's never failed me, and he's always going to take any book to another level. Whether you like the story or not, you're still going to want to flip through it because the fucking next page is going to look awesome at the very least.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Venom was bad or anything like that. I'm just saying it was polarizing and felt like it was kind of forgotten about towards, or at least this last year. It wasn't.
Well, coming off the heels of King in Black, I mean, it was kind of like, all right, how are we wrapping things up?
Right. Exactly. We have a winner. The best illustrator. The best fucking illustrator in all of comics in 2021. Oh, man. I can't get the smile off my face saying this. It is fucking Fabio Alves. Fabio Alves over Ryan Stegman and Michael Walsh and Andrea Moody. It makes me so happy to see that the fans appreciate this man's talent, because that's all this man is talented. He is pure talented.
Yeah.
This was probably the one I was hoping for the most to happen, thinking, Michael Walsh and Ryan Stegman, sir. No. No. I mean, it's maybe Ryan Stegman could have campaigned a little bit harder to win his Cheersy. Maybe things would have gone a little bit different.
No, but Fabio is well deserving of it. I mean, you gotta give him his due, and Sears. I mean, this was almost like a landslide. No contest here. But that's just how strong the work was. I mean, and especially with how deep the field was too. I mean, that's something he's got to be very, very proud of.
Putting together the list of best illustrator was my most feared thing for this entire show. All year. I was just dreading, like, how am I going to narrow down 4 illustrators? Because, I mean, Scott Hepburn with MODOK. I mean, that alone. Like, this is so amazing. I mean, there was just so many incredible visual storytellers this year. And for Fabio Alves, Mr. Kickstarter, this again, crowd-funded creator coming out and just not just winning, but this dude put his dick is on the table, and it's up to everybody else this next year to live up to Fabio Alves standards. How fucking awesome is that, man? How awesome is that? Oh, I love it. I love it. We've got 2 more, man. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, but I'm just now seeing the winner for this. I've been waiting until the last moment to reveal to myself who the winner for best writer.
Really? Okay.
And this is probably the happiest moment of the Cheersies for me. I thought Fabio Alves was going to do something, but all right, everybody. This is the big one, the second biggest one, as far as the things that drive the things we love. I don't really want to compare this to anything else. So to me, the writer is just as important as the color artist, the letterer, and the illustrator. I backtrack everything I said here, but this is the second to last one. Oh man, best writer of the year. This was another one that just, I wanted 50 people on this list, man. I did. There were so many people, or there were so many issues this year that I put down. I was like, fuck, was this the best thing I've ever read?
Yeah.
And it's this is the golden age of writers, man. You could say the golden age of comics, but in the golden age of comics, there was like 5 people that are all on our Mount Rushmore. Right now, as far as quantity and quality coming together in the world of writing comics, it doesn't get any better than right fucking now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me and my young opinion, but I don't know, man. I feel like I've read every comic that's come out in the last 5 years, and it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see this level of consistency and quality coming out of these people. And because of that, it was very, very hard to narrow down just 4. So that's part of the reason why I decided to leave it up to the voters this year.
Yeah.
And this list doesn't surprise me. Not one bit. Not one bit. So we did narrow it down to 4. Oh, man. Our top 4 finalists for best writer in all of comics. Tom Taylor. Fucking duh. All of these are duh, if you ask me. Duh. You could add 10 more on here, and duh. Tom Taylor. I mean, talk a little bit about what Tom Taylor's done for us in comics this year that we haven't talked about yet, aside from Nightwing and Superman. How about 7? We talked a little bit about 7 Secrets. 7 Secrets. Like, the man doesn't just do big 2. He's very versatile. Dark Ages.
I was gonna say Dark Ages.
Probably gonna be my Marvel mini series of the year next year. As it stands right now, there's going to be more issues coming out next year than this year. So in my eyes, it qualifies, and that's fucking good. How about Dark Knights of Steel? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Dark Knights of Steel? Like, how have we not even talked about that yet? Like, that's something that if anybody else said, I'm going to do a medieval Justice League, I'm like, you can go fuck yourself with that. Tom Taylor came. I'm a do Game of Thrones version of the Justice League, and I'm sitting here like, oh, fucking Jesus Christ, like I can't get enough of this. This is so goddamn good. Like I don't think anybody else could pull it off the way that he and Yasmin Putri are doing it. It's so all of those things and probably 50 more things that I just don't have time to rattle off, or is why Tom Taylor is a front runner for Writer of the Year, and he has been every year since I've been doing this. He is just impressive.
The work speaks for itself. I mean, that's at the bottom line. Like, name me a bad Tom Taylor book.
I was just going to say, name me a bad Tom Taylor book. And I'm not going to say, I'll wait, because I don't have that fucking kind of time. Yeah. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Rom V really fucking got a lot of attention this year, man. Taking over Venom and making Venom very, very good. Swamp Thing, killing it on Swamp Thing. How about The Many Deaths of Layla Starr? That was Rom V. Rom V was undeniable this year and really just a massive breakout. Like I said, not his first year in comics, but this is the first year that I was like, who the fuck is Rom V? You know, and just, he's incredible, man. I mean, are there any Rom V books that I'm missing?
No, I think you nailed them all.
I mean, yeah.
Like the ones that stand out on me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Too, but.
Right. Mark Russell. Mark Russell he did so much this year. So much. 1 Star Squadron, which is fucking awesome. To me, 1 Star Squadron is how Heroes Reborn should have been.
Yes.
Like, to me, that is the A version of the B-list characters doing Heroes Reborn. Sorry, Tom King, but take some fucking notes from Mark Russell if you want some. And it's not just slapstick fucking comedy either. That you kind of expect out of something goofy like this. This is why I say this is the version of Heroes in Crisis that I expected, or I wanted to get initially when Tom King was writing this, and Mark Russell killed it. And that's just 1 Star Squadron. Can we talk about Not All Robots? Can we talk about the fact that he just a couple of days ago came out with the origin of in Batman Urban Legends number 11 that just came out like 12 fucking hours ago. Ace. He wrote he wrote the origin for Ace. The man, if I looked at my wall, I'd say probably 10% of it is Mark Russell work. He did so much in so many great ways and never, not one time, let me down. And I don't know, man. Mark Russell, he's fucking here. He's already a legend. He's not a breakout star. He's been doing this for long enough. He changes everything he does. He brings such a unique perspective to things, like all the way back to his Flintstones. Remember when he did Flintstones and he did a whole book based off the perspective of the fucking appliences? Who the fuck does that? Mark Russell. Only a mind like his. Oh my God. He's a genius. He's a fucking genius. Like I've had the opportunity to speak with him face to face, not just on the podcast. I mean, and for numerous amounts of time. This man is a genius. He's one of the smartest people in all of comics, and his comic book storytelling, you'll learn a goddamn thing or two. Elon Musk, read Not All Robots. Read it. And our 4th finalist, which again, no surprise at all, the man that just lights everything on fire that he touches. He brought us Nice House on the Lake. He continues to bring us Something Is Killing the Children. He's wrote a little book called, I think I'm pronouncing Bateman, I think is what it is. Batman. Fucking Batman. James Tynion IV. Whether you like him or not, or whether you liked Batman or not, I can't even say it right now. I fucked myself forever. He did things. And most people, they liked him. Nice House on the Lake, they liked it. I don't know anybody that said, no, it's not for me. I don't know. I can't find him. Couldn't find him. Couldn't find that person.
No. I mean, this whole lineup, I mean, is the creme de la creme right now. And like you say, in Tynan's run, I mean, anything he's done, hell, even House of Slaughter, too, the spin-off book or something, Killing the Children.
Yeah. I'm more into that than I am Something Is Killing the Children right now. House of it's got some fucking shit's fucking good. It's fucking good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think about it, but it's just like for everything he's done, he's so versatile in his lineup. He has really just elevated his stock so much over the year that like your favorite book is probably something he's gotten his hands on one way or another.
Fucking Department of Truth is some more that he's. I mean, he's all over the place, man. He shows that he's so much more than just I am Batman. He earned his spot to make that Batman paycheck, and yeah, I don't know. It pains me to see him leave mainstream comics and go to Substack. It really does, because the man is hyper talented. I get it. He's got his own stories he wants to tell, but we need people with James Tynion IV talent to take over a Daredevil book when the time comes. You know, I mean, we need to see that. You know, it's just, so because of that, I think a lot of people have this soured taste, because it's more just like, you're not allowed to leave us, dude. Like, we love you. Fucking fuck you for wanting to leave, you know. And I think that's the only reason why, spoilers, he's not the winner this year. You know, it's just because of that move. Congratulations, James Tynion IV. You fucked yourself out of a Cheersie with that Substack money. You fucked yourself, buddy. There's once again, so many writers. I mean, David Pepos, the guy's he didn't swing and miss one time this year, not one time. Scouts Honor, the OZ, just man. I think Going to the Chapel was the year before, so I can't bring that. But the fact that he's remained consistent with his unbelievable work. There's just so many, man. So many. Al Ewing, and I mean, this is the time where I really want to just shout them all out, but we don't have that kind of time.
No, we don't have that kind of time.
We gotta name a winner. We gotta name a winner, buddy. Do you have a favorite?
You know, out of the field, you gotta go with who's doing the best book on the market right now, and that's Tom Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, you could say any one of these writers is in that conversation, and rightfully so, and I would never argue with you about it. But if you're asking me, it's like, who is the MVP on a championship winning team? Well, who's the captain of the best book on the market right now? That's why I always go by. So that's why I say Tom Taylor.
Yeah, man. You know, I think on any other given year, I think I mean, not that this year was any worse than anything else. If anything, I say this is his best year yet in comics. But I really feel just the way that Mark Russell told stories this year. He fucking did things that nobody thought they needed, and he did it in ways that nobody expected either. Anybody, there's not a fucking person on the planet that expected what they read when they picked up One Star Squadron. Nobody predicted that. Nobody predicted where he was going to take Not All Robots, you know, because you read the first issue, you're like, okay, I could see him going with this, but then he added something each issue that all came together into one big fuck moment. And every single thing he did had that type of weight to it. And I mean, I don't want to take away anything from anybody else. Like I said, Tom Taylor, I mean, he's one of my favorite writers to ever do it ever, period. And but with me, Mark Russell just really, really shined this year. It was time to find out who won the best writer of 2021. And it brings me much joy to say, in a landslide victory, the best writer of the year, the Cheersie goes to my man, Mark motherfucking Russell. Man Russ himself.
Yeah.
Coming out of the pack. Anybody that can outshine a Tom Taylor audience, that speaks fucking volumes in itself. Because Tom Taylor, I mean, right now, he is the best writer in comics. I mean, my bias is John Layman is the best writer to ever write. And she was amazing, and John Layman did amazing things. John Layman should also be on this list as well, in my opinion. But Tom Taylor, he does things with mainstream characters that nobody else should be allowed to do, or would be allowed to do. And that's really what separates him from the pack. But when a Mark Russell can come along and take his body of work and do all of the things that he did throughout a year, and I mean, you bat 1,000 and you're up at bat fucking 50 times. You're a goddamn all-star every time. You know, you're an all-star every time. And all four of these guys were just all-stars this year. There's no doubt about it. But to see Mark Russell come in and take the upset, anybody that wasn't Tom Taylor would have been an upset. I mean, let's face it. And Mark Russell coming in, just, oh, look at his fucking smile. Oh my God, it's so fucking awesome. Oh, I love it. Well deserved, very well deserved. Now, that being said, Tom Taylor, he wrote some of the best stuff that I'll ever read, hands down. Some of the best single issues that came out this year out of Tom Taylor. There's if there's one time I'd be like, yeah, I want a tie.
This would be it. But
not this time. Mark Russell, you get your fucking cheersy with pride above all of them too. I mean, like it was a landslide. Like it wasn't even close, which is I love seeing that. Volumes indeed. You ready for the last category of the night?
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh man. See, this is when you bring out the whole cast of the Avengers to present for best movie, best picture. Like this is where it all comes down to. To me, this is the most important category in the entire goddamn show, because if there's one thing you could just one thing you could hand to somebody and be like, this is the thing, this is the best thing that happened. Read this and change your life. I mean, it comes out of this category for best single issue. The one issue that stood out above everything else, regardless of what series it belonged to, the best single issue that made you put your comic down afterwards and go, what the fuck did I just read? In the best way possible. The issue that makes you have to go out and get another one because you just got spit on this one. This is the one. This is the one. The best single issue. This is the thing that I pay closest attention to throughout the entire year. I'm taking notes on every time I have that moment. Every time I have to go replace a copy, I write it down and make sure that it's remembered. I lost that list this year, and the books were so good, I had it memorized. I memorized. And a lot of these books, they old. They're early. They're early 2021. Wait, what year are we in? 2021.
2021.
So, oh man, four finalists, and all of them. Any one of these books could be handed to anybody, any new reader, and it change their life. And this is what it's all about. We're going to start out with a late arrival this year, a book that came out. The best part is I agreed with all of the nominations that came in. We were like, yep, these are the four. I don't disagree with any of this. These are the final four for me. Oh man. And there were a couple other ones that were pretty fucking badass. Don't get me wrong, but these are the definite four. Good Boy #1. That issue was so fun and so unnecessarily violent that I took my time. Normally it's like, okay, I got fucking 25 books I got to read this week. I got to plow through these. With Good Boy, I took my sweet ass time. I mean, granted, there's some Dave Lentz letters in there that I don't know what it was about those letters I was so attracted to, but it really carried the story. But fucking John Wick reversed, and it was just fucking perfect. It was. And the rest of issue #2 was just fucking awesome. But you got to give it to #1 because it was the one that wrote me in. There would be #2 if it wasn't for how amazing this first issue was. You did get to check this out, right?
Yes, I did. Well worth the praise.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah.
Nightwing, fill in the blank, but we're gonna go with 87 just because nobody would attempt to do what Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo did with this issue. It's fucking suicide, sales suicide. But to create a 22-page story, all taking place in the same panel, essentially. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just one continuous shot. And then also being good and makes sense. That's the other thing. Is you could do it, but how good was the story?
Right.
With this one, Bitewing bitches. I mean, you put Bitewing into this and make him the fucking oh my god, Nightwing 87. It broke ground for comic. This is a bar setter. Yeah. I mean, everybody right now is going to be trying to be this good this next year. Like, this is what everybody's working at, is on everybody's radar. It's so good.
It's when you're the benchmark that your fellow creators are trying to reach, you have the issue of the year. And that's what they delivered with this one.
Yeah.
That, it stands out for its creativity and its presentation. And when you're picking it up, you're reading something special.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, special's the word, man. I don't know that we're ever going to see anything like this anytime soon. I don't want to say ever, but anytime soon, no. There's a reason why in all of the comics I've read, I've never seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking almost impossible to do. It takes the best of the best of the best to be able to do this. And writer of the year, that'll do it. It takes writer of the year. I guess writer of the year runner up, but a writer of the year finalist. Let's put it that way. Fuck, Nightwing 87 was good. Still fresh in the head too. You know what else is fresh in the head is a book that we've already talked about that came out. Fuck, it seems like years ago. It feels like it doesn't even belong on this because it was so long ago. But it wasn't. It was at the very beginning of 2021, and that is that Beta Ray Bill issue number 2. Jesus Christ, man! You talk about feels, dude. You talk about someone. Oh my god. I'm not gonna go through the whole plot line of this. This is a necessary read. It's necessary to read, even if you don't read the rest of the series. Which, after you read number 2, I don't know why you wouldn't continue to read it, because one of the best things one of the best single issues of comics ever written. Not just this year, just fucking ever. And man, what Daniel Warren Johnson did with Beta Ray Bill in that issue, it was just, like I said, I mean, dude, right in the fucking heart, man. So beautiful out of ugliness. That's the other thing too. Yeah. The book was ugly. Like, I mean, not visually, obviously, but I mean, it had that toxic, ugly thing that,
It had a unique, ugly aura around it, and to see that you tear into the layers of Beta Ray Bill and really see what the character is about. I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson just absolutely made a masterpiece with it, and it's so painfully visually impressive to read that you can't turn away.
Yeah. All of these are masterpieces. They really are. I mean, to be able to pinpoint, a single issue out of everything that we read. I mean, I guess I could do the average math. Let's just say I read 12 books a week, so that's approximately 48 books a month. So let's just say 500 comics a year. To be able to just pick out 4, I mean, it takes an amazing book to be able to stand out like that. And yeah, man, Beta Ray Bill, that was definitely the first book of the year. I was like, fuck, everybody could stop trying.
Yeah.
It's not going to get this good again. And then there was an uproar for Planet Size X-Men when the nominations came in. People really dug Planet Size X-Men.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at this. Not gonna lie. I thought it was a great issue, but just for the reaction it got from the fans.
Yeah, man. I mean, this goes to show. I mean, fuck, we could think we know, we have our finger on the pulse, but there's there's shit out there that's going appreciated that these people obviously don't. I mean, they voted, so they have some sort of social media accounts, but they're not loud on it. You know, I mean, I didn't hear anybody talk. I mean, I guess I take that back. I've heard some talk about Planet Size X-Men when it came. I remember it being very popular, but to make the Final Four with this lineup,
that's huge. That's huge.
Fucking A. You ready to find out what the best thing in all of comics ever of 2021?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Oh man, it's really no surprise. It's no surprise. Oh man, I'm so glad he gets a Cheersy because he's been kind of upset a few times this award ceremony compared to last year where he landslide. But
clean out last year.
Oh man, Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's Nightwing number 87 is the best thing that you will read or did read in all of the year 2021. It took them long enough to come out with it. Waited all the way up until the very end. This is almost a 2022 talk, but it came out, and that's how we essentially got to go into the new year. It was fucking Nightwing 87. Can you imagine? Like, that's how you start a new year, man. When you get the best thing of the entire year coming out on the last new comic book day of the year. I mean, it's the cherry that this year deserves, because this is my favorite year in comics. It really was. This is, at least as long as I've been doing the Cheersies, man. There's so many amazing things that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really kind of sit back and look and go, this year can be defined by the rise of the independents and really just how the business has been done has been revolutionized by Kickstarter and Substack. But to see that at the end of the day, you have a book that really wasn't supposed to be as good as it was.
No, people, 12 months ago. I mean, earlier this year, Tom Taylor hasn't been writing it all year. Like, he just took it on at some point throughout the year. There was a point at this year where the thought of Nightwing not even just being considered best ongoing series, but winning it, but also being responsible for the best single fucking 22-page complete story in all of comics. I just, what a fucking year. I mean, and that alone is why this has been my favorite year, because like I said, 12 months ago, I said Nightwing is the best thing in comics. It would have got me beat up at a fucking nerdy bar. But I mean, it's undeniable now. And not only is it best continuous ongoing series, but it also, like I said, spawned the best 22-page complete. Not just let's see what happens next, bum, bum, bum. No, this is a contained 22-page. It could have just been a one-shot special, and it was an absolute thing of beauty. Not to take away from the awesomeness and ridiculousness that was Good Boy, or the gut-wrenching, painstaking beauty that was Beta Ray Bill 2, or Planet Size X-Men for that matter. I mean, I know I kind of put that at a different level, but our top three fucking top three, if you ask me, man. And they're books that have been, the moment I read them, I was like, Cheersy Nom, all of them. Just an amazing year, man. An absolute amazing year in comics. And I couldn't think of anybody better to talk about it with than you, Ken Moneybags. Oh, man, what an amazing co-host you are, brother.
Absolutely, brother.
I know it's like 7 o'clock in the morning Wednesday for you out there at this point. This show's been going on forever. And you're already like way late into the next day, I feel. But man, I couldn't have done it with anybody more awesome and more into this medium. You know, I mean, this is thank you for your time, brother. This has been a fucking hell of a Cheersy show.
Brother, I look forward to this each and every year. And, you know, like I say, I love talking comics. I don't even mind. I just sit there and we just bask about the greatness of the medium that has provided so many memories and so many moments for us as fans, and to give that to those creators, I think really has done the job. And I am honored that you asked me to come on and do this again. I will always be here to do this for you.
Right on, man. Well, I look forward to the 4th annual CHEERSIES Awards, because you for sure will be invited back. And I thank every listener that has tuned in throughout this show. I know it's been a long one. Didn't expect anybody to hang out for all 4 hours. Look at us fucking go, dude.
Pat called it. Pat said you guys are going to be talking for 4 hours. I said, well, that's what we did last year. I said, we might go 5 this time. He's like, oh my God.
I mean, it probably could have been a 5-hour show. If I would have added a couple of the categories we didn't have last year, it could have easily been a 5-hour show. But I do understand that you're a man on a different time zone that's got very important things to do, like produce a podcast, the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour. Tell people, I mean, they already know if they listen to this show, but just in case, where do they find it, man? It's the best all-around content that I listen to.
Oh, well, thank you for the high praise. I thank you for the high praise. Now, if you're looking for anything that is the ODPH, and I hope you do, swing on over to odphpodcast.com, where you can join the conversation on all our social media accounts. We get very interactive with you, so you can talk to Padawan J, Coach Duffy, myself, Dre Driven. The entire 607 podcast fam is always lurking around there, so we definitely got lots to go. Parlay Points, where if you want to find out the latest comic reviews, I give them out each and every week on the blog, and it's taken off, and I can't thank everybody enough for subscribing to that. The numbers of that is just astonishing. I actually just received the last month's ones, and wow. So thank you.
Awesome,
thank you.
Man. Good for you.
But if you're looking for the directory too, which has the ODPH on your favorite podcast provider, which if you're not sure how to find us, just type in ODPH on your favorite podcast platform. We pop right up. We have a directory which has all our links right there. So you can hit follow. You'll get the brand new content talking sports, movies, TV, comics, pro wrestling, and more each and every week, delivered to you at TeePublic Store, and so much more is ODPHpodcast.com. Thank you, brother, as always, man. This is always fun.
Oh man, it really is. It really is. All right, everybody. I'm not gonna do any plugs. You get that on the podcast. This is Spotify and shit. I'll talk to you the next time there's things about comics to talk about. In the meantime, I command that you stay safe and read responsibly. Cheers, fuckers. Oh man, we did it. We did it, brother. Cheers.
Hell yeah. Cheers, man.